Welcome to the first episode of Starlight Shadows. I am your host, Don Martino, and I'm sitting here with Josh Richards. Josh, this is our Star Wars show, as we discussed, and I'm very excited to start this. Very first episode. It's very exciting. Josh looks dubious.
Well, Dom.
Yeah, go ahead.
You say we're sitting together, but we're not. I checked my left, I checked my right, so we're already filling our audience with a house of lies. Speaking of house of lies, Dom.
Yes.
What's up with this Star Wars I hear so much about?
The Star Wars. All right, so let's talk about that.
What?
There goes the spit take. All right. Oh, my God.
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
I love it. I love it. All right.
Good Lord, look at that. We just got a copyright strike.
I know, probably. All right. Yeah, what's up with this Star Wars? What's up with Star Wars? No, that segment we cut from Movie Mornings, and we're doing a Star Wars show here. This is your new home for Star Wars content on this channel. And yeah, man, I guess we'll kind of go into the MO, and then we'll have some fun. Basically...
Dom already having fun.
You're already having fun.
Yeah, which camera do I look into now, Jack?
I don't know. You're in Studio B, I'm in Studio A, so I can't actually tell you which camera to look into. That's the problem.
It's a reference to a movie.
Oh. Well, I don't know what movie that is.
Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I've seen it once.
Did I look at? Yeah. Oh, once. I'm sorry. If it was Star Wars, you would do a whole show on it, like we're doing now, Dom. Back to the action.
We'll talk about it. All right, so look. This is what's going on. So, basically, I'll get into the MO. It's going to be
Jose
pretty much...
Jose and Dom had a huge falling out, and this is his spite show.
We pretty much are... No. We're good. We talked today on the phone, Jose and I, but...
They made up.
Sure. What our MO is going to be... Well, it's pretty much this. We're having a blast talking about Star Wars. We're not getting caught up in the middle of this whatever's going on the internet. Basically, I want to make Star Wars a safe and fun place for people to, I want Star Wars to be a safe and fun thing for people to talk about, and I want to create a safe space for people to talk about it, and I want to make it this, because not a lot of people
Dom wants
have
to make Star Wars fun again.
I do. I really do. But, look, Josh and I talk about Star Wars once a week anyway. So we were like, let's make it a show. Makes sense. And I think I'm very excited to get into this personally, because today we're going to be doing our mid-season review for the Acolyte Season 1. Let's, we'll just call it that for now, until we figure out if it's going to get more seasons or not. And yeah, man, I genuinely though, guys, it's the one time I'm going to reference this. I mean, it's just weird culturally right now out there on the internet, and this is a fun place to be, hopefully. And just, we don't want to, again, we want to stay positive and have fun. We're going to critique things, but we're going to have fun while we do it. And not
We're
everything.
talking about the show, not the world surrounding the show.
Correct. Well, we're talking about a world that involves space wizards that we happen to love, but at the same time, we don't have to take it like so seriously it becomes
and space witches as well.
Space witches, correct? Yeah. I agree. I think that's fine, and we're gonna get into all that. The Acolyte's a show. Look, we've been diving into this thing every week. I don't know, Josh, before we get into that, is there anything you want to add to the MO, the mission statement, really quick?
I've been a little Looney Tunes, little Bugs Bunny, because you know why, Dom? You know why?
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited
to
talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's kind of an okay series.
Yeah, it's kind of okay. I like that.
And every night after Acolyte ends on Tuesdays, we all
9 p.m.
get in a
Eastern
little group chat. We talk about the show, and then we get a kind of a vibe of how we feel about it. But then I ruminate on it a bit more, and I'm gonna have some views that may shock you.
Yeah, for sure. What are those views? What are those views?
Well, we're just going to get into it now?
Oh, we'll dive in. We're
diving in? All right.
Yeah, okay. All right, look, guys. So 4 episodes out of this season of The Acolyte, and it's, like I said, we're going to have fun talking about it, guys. But, so far, my overall thoughts. I think the show's good. I don't think it's great. I have issues throughout, but all in all, I would say it's good. It's not ruining my love of Star Wars or anything like that, nor is it really per se enhancing my love of Star Wars. It's not doing anything to really move the needle on where I was already at per se, but I am, at least at the end of each episode, I'm at least curious to see what happens next week. It's got me intrigued every single time an episode ends. I can at least give it that. There are Star Wars shows that haven't done that for me. This one has.
Book of
And-
Boba Fett.
Well, that'd be one of them. And this one is moving the needle in that sense. I'm happy that we're getting a cliffhanger at the end of each episode. I can't wait to see where it goes. The week after, and I'm always interested, and it's intriguing enough. And I like some of the things that we're starting to dive into. I'll let Josh go ahead and give his thoughts, and then we can get into like full spoilers. So you have been warned. We are going to talk spoilers.
Yeah, no, wouldn't it be wild if we did do spoilers on the mid-season review? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, episode 4, it's okay. Episode 5, it's all right.
Well, that's the show.
Thank you. Have a good night. Wow,
Yep.
what a trick audience. No, so my view on Acolyte right now, as I kind of alluded to, it's okay. My analogy was, I had Star Wars at a fine restaurant, right?
Mhm.
My favorite's Return of the Jedi. I get
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. I put it in the fridge for in the middle of the night. I wake up. I go, you know what? I'm gonna microwave that, and that's what this feels like. It feels like Star Wars got microwaved. It's not bad, but it's not as good as other things.
Yeah.
It's a little lukewarm for me. I do have an ultimatum with the show. We're at we're at 4 episodes, so we're halfway there.
Yeah.
Episode 5 will tell me if I like the show or not.
I hate to use the word ultimatum, but there are things I definitely don't want it to do. That's for sure. And I'm really hoping that something doesn't become. I don't know why I'm speaking so vague about it. We could get into spoilers. I mean, look. All honesty, let's just dive right into the ending of last episode, and we're gonna jump around all over the place. I mean,
I just jumped to the thing I hate and my theory. Are we putting this out before the episode airs?
what do you mean?
Like episode 5?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. So I want this on record. My prediction.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Go ahead. What was your?
That was a jump scare.
Sorry about that.
Scare.
Sorry about.
I was mildly startled. I just lost my train of thought, Dom.
I apologize.
Way to go,
What's your
Dom.
theory for episode 5?
It's going to happen in episode 5. All right, I'm going to say what I want in episode 5.
What you want in episode 5?
And then I'm going to say what I think, my reality.
All right.
So, Kylo Ren glides down like a ghoul.
Yeah.
Really cool. What I would like is the next episode just be like a slaughter fest. It's going to be a fight. It's going to make that promise of him, when May,
Yeah.
right? Is that her name? When she's like, he's here, and it turns black and all spooky.
Yeah.
You got to follow that up with something crazy. I want a slaughter fest. I want this dude to feel like an actual threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going to happen is earlier in the episode of episode 4, they talked about they're walking through the forest, and a Jedi turns on his lightsaber, and a bug flies at it, and they go, "My God, bugs are attracted to light."
Yeah.
All those Jedis are going to turn on their lightsabers, and all the bugs are going to swarm, and that's going to be their way out. That's what's going to save them. I'm going to hate it, and you're probably going to get Kylo Ren going, as he's like swarmed by bugs because red.
The
So, like,
lightsabers
my God,
are on. They're ready to go as of this last episode. Yeah.
But it cut right before, so they'll be like, he'll about to swing or something, and you're like, "What's that? What's that noise?"
Yeah.
And then Basil will go, "Meow," and then a bunch of bugs will come swarming, and then they're like, "Quickly, he's swarmed by them, get away!"
Yeah.
And then I'll be greatly let down, even though there's a lot of cannon fodder, because I did see Jedis we haven't seen before, and they didn't really name them.
Yeah.
So they'll probably get killed, and then your core will go away.
You know what, though? I could live with both. I could live with there being Jedis getting taken out, and we actually get like an epic duel, and Jedis get taken out, right? Because, and I agree though, we need to see that, and the reason why is because we need to, like you were saying, make the Sith intimidating and keep him intimidating. Sorry, I think they did a great job just making him intimidating right from the get-go. Yeah. And if they want to stay on that path, we need to have stakes. And at the same time, some of them can get away because of the bugs, because it would pay off what the bugs were about in the last episode. So I think if we could get both, I would actually maybe even be happier with that. But what I don't want to see, like you said, is a cop-out. Because, and it's not about, and again, I want to be clear, it's not about, lightsabers fighting cool, moves cool, like that is cool. I love that stuff.
If you're going to do a build-up of this dude showing up like, quote-unquote, a phantom, if you're going to do a build of that, give me a payoff. Like, if you're going to make it feel like a horror movie, because like I was showing my brother the scene where he glides down, and the music that they used for that almost sounded like it was out of Evil Dead Rise.
It did. I loved it.
When she comes out of the water.
Score's great.
Yeah, that part was round of applause.
And
that whole section was wonderful.
I'm going to say this. I know what you're saying about your reality, but I do almost got to wonder if they will do something that's like a little bit more in the horror realm, because they hired Michael Abels to do the score, who's known for Jordan Peele's movies, and does horror scores, So I got to wonder if maybe that was why, and I hope it just wasn't for this one scene and then they cop out. And again, it's not a look, I mean, I want to end, it's like, okay, yeah, the bugs can fly in, they can get away. But to me, that's not going to be, again, it's not going to be make or break. I would hate it. I would hate the decision. But I also need to see where the rest of the season goes. I'm still there. But that's with the caveat that the end of episode 5 can come up with another cliffhanger to make me go, okay, I got to see what happens. But at the same time, there is a point. I feel like we've seen shows do this, where it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily had cliffhangers that are as good as this, and I don't think they have, but I do think that to a degree, a lot of shows, it's like, okay, next week, we keep thinking in our head canon, like, okay, next week's going to be the week where we're getting the best episode, next week's going to be the week, next week's going to be the week, and we've waited and waited and waited, and we've been disappointed with that as well. I just feel like for this Sith to really, again, I'm just going back to the stakes, because that bug scene was one of the things that, no pun intended, bugged me about the show, because literally it was like there was no stakes. Like I was talking to, all right, so it's two things. One, my mother's been watching the show. She's enjoying it. She's enjoying the mystery of it. And every time I watch it with her, I'm like, okay, this is who this was made for, because she's loving it. She's excited about this. She's a very casual Star Wars fan, and that's who it was made for, I think, for the most part, because but then again, at the same time, I'm like, okay, she's sitting there like, because I told her, I was like, there's a scene with bugs. I am going to warn you, it's a little wasted. It's weird. But she didn't mind it. And she was like, what was wrong with that? And I was like, I told her, I said, like, House of the Dragon, if they had a scene where they were walking through the woods and there was these scary bugs, they would have spent 20 minutes giving us like an epic fight. You know what I mean? And it's like, these episodes are 27. This one was 27 minutes without credits and intro and all that.
That's bugging me too.
Well, what are they in a hurry for? That's right? My issue. Yeah, like, why are they rushing?
It's almost the length of a Simpsons episode.
It's got a $170 million budget. I understand that's per episode. You got to divvy it up, but House of the Dragon's got about that too, right? Like, it's almost about 200 million or something, and their episodes are like an hour and a half.
You mentioned something, and I just got aren't you just a little envious of your mom?
Yeah.
Like think
that's
about,
what I'm saying.
Like, what? She's like, that was fantastic. There's bugs showing up, like, because she's casual with movies.
That's what I mean.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm so envious because, like, here we are spending our Friday night.
I know. Critiquing.
Surrounded by movies that we're like, we can't enjoy things anymore. We're so we're callous.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, a bug showed up. People are like, what a wonderful spectacle. And we're just like, man, those bugs. Yeah, I'm not feeling
But I think it's fine because neither of us are on any extreme of any ideal. You know what I mean? Like, we're not. You're on an extreme?
Oh, yeah.
What's Basil the extreme?
May save the franchise.
Oh, that extreme, sure. I love Basil.
Basil is...
That character is the best.
He may... I think he's Snoke.
I still wonder, since the show is something we can like deviate and we can go all over the place. Speaking of that, I gotta wonder about how far did you get into Andor? You're 2 episodes behind.
I am 2 episodes left of Andor, but I have a theory for the next part.
Okay, you're past the prison stuff then.
Yeah, the pokey part, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask about the Andy Serkis. I still wonder if they're trying to do something there where it's like they're taking part of his DNA to make Snoke.
Do you want to? It's kind of fun if you want to hear my prediction for what will happen with Andor.
Yeah, I would love it.
Yeah, all right. So
we can go all over the place. That's what I love. Yeah, because
you know why we're just Starlight Shadows. We're just Starlight Shadows.
Two dudes talking about Star Wars. Yeah,
two fellows.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what I think is going to happen with Andor.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to introduce kind of a newer character, and she is going to run into Andor and a crew of people that he's already like these rebels, and she'll join them. And her father, this is going to be crazy, I know, but her father will
It's just hard because you haven't seen the ending, but I'm still listening.
Yeah. But her father will help design the Death Star. And she's going to give the plans. And these plans they'll use, and they're going to call their team Rogue One. Now, I don't know where I got the name Rogue One, but I think this is what it's leading up to. I think the show's kind of going to do this thing about, them getting the plans and all this. I think it could be really cool. It could be really cool. I think that's what next.
That's right. Say no shit. No shit.
That was perfect. Thank you for setting up that soundbite.
You're welcome.
Anyway, go ahead.
If we're, you're going to do all these.
This is the opportune times.
No, you're going to do all these comedies. That's what the kids call them these days.
Comedies, yes.
All these comedies. I better see some dirty work.
Oh, yeah, I should clip something out from that.
Yeah, you should. Or I'm walking.
Yeah.
Starlight Shadows will become Starlight Shadow unless I get dirty work on here.
All right, I think this is inside enough. I could say that. The one thing I wanted to clip, you're going to understand what this is referencing, but I want to clip out. What now? Remember that? Thought that'd be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. We need to get Star Wars sound bites. We need to get the droids.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, any ideas that you guys have for sound bites? You just put it in the comments. Yeah, seriously.
I want the droid. The part of the droid. I think I actually talked about on the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace. Now on Spotify, check it out. The droid going, "Oh my god!" as a TIE fighter gets dropped on. Yeah. We need that.
That'd be amazing.
Now we got a little side tangent there. I was Andor.
Yeah, I love the side tangents.
But no, Andor's great. I actually love it. All jokes aside.
Yeah.
I got busy and I just haven't watched the last 2 episodes.
It's quality wise the best thing that Disney's made Star Wars since the original trilogy.
Since Basil.
Since Basil. Love that guy. Just to jump back in, I think that was one of the greatest things, both comedically and just awesome stuff.
Like how you'll get like generated news based off things you looked up.
Yeah,
sometimes on your phone. So I got one algorithm.
It's all conspiracy.
Yeah, but no, I got one that said like the Star Wars character that's been 45 years in the making, and it was Basil.
Yeah.
So did George design him and he never came to be? They just
probably Doug Chang. He does a lot of the art design. So if you could go pick up those older Star Wars visual guides. Like I know for us, this movie has been kind of a sore spot, but like I know that Palpatine's throne room in Rise of Skywalker was supposed to be the throne room in Return of the Jedi, and they just took the concept art and just used it for Rise of Skywalker.
He does look like a character George would make. Like, he runs around and he smells stuff and then screams.
He does
loud.
I agree 100%. I think that it's 100% a George character. It's strange, like you say that. Like in all seriousness, it is one of the things about the show that feels more connected to Star Wars because of that. It's a very George character.
We have a great show. When we haven't even talked about any of the main characters, the person on the monitor, we talk about the screaming teddy bear.
We'll get there, folks. Come on. We'll get there.
What the hell? I came here for a mid-season review, not a Basil review.
I'm gonna time code this as best I can.
It's called padding out the time.
It really is. No, man. No, this is how
our hour episode we're doing will be longer than the whole 4 episodes.
It's authentic because this is how we talk together.
It really is.
Reality. The show will find its voice.
Except we have another guy in the middle who's really angry. But
yeah. He just didn't. He doesn't want to do this. But like you said, there's a podcast going on in his own house. He won't even do that.
Hey, shout out! I am on another show. If you find my witty banter great, I am doing another show as a group of other people where we talk about horror movies, music, kind of a little bit of everything. It's called Studio 13. So keep an eye out on that, or don't. I don't care. Have fun. Watch this show. This show's good.
This one's good too. Did you guys go with that graphic I made, by the way, or your design?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Actually, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have nothing to do with that. Anyway, so
I threw it in there. They said they didn't say anything about it. So I don't know. Maybe.
So yes, Basil was great, and then let's dive into characters. That was a good thought. I like that. We can
So
kind
there's a character named Basil, right?
There is a character named Basil that we've talked way too much about. And
way too little.
Sure.
Release the Basil cut.
Release the Basil cut. Anyway, so there's other characters like the one behind you, Jackie.
I'm talking about Zorak.
Big fan of Jackie. I like Jackie.
Yeah, I like her.
You know what I like? I told Keaton this, and he didn't get it, but that's fine. I like that. I like the relationship between Jackie and May. I think it's carrying a lot of the show for me. As far as especially a lot of the last episode, because I watched it again. I always watch them at least once, or at least twice, I should say, rather.
Oh, you have plenty of time because they're 10 minutes long,
right? And I checked this one out again, and a lot of my issues did kind of a lot of stuff with I do think the pacing is rushed still, but some of my pacing stuff did kind of go away and things of that nature. And you know what's holding this show too, really quick before we dive into characters, is it looks great. It doesn't look like it's filmed on a soundstage. It looks good throughout. I'm not saying that that's everything, but it does look good comparatively. You can't deny. Andor looks the best so far, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm not caught up on your movie mornings yet. Yeah. Have you talked about the issue you had around the time of Acolyte with Disney?
I don't know what you're talking
TV?
About. Oh, no, I didn't mention it.
That'd be a good time to bring it up. I mean, you just mentioned the...
No. We're going to stay away from hateful things here.
It's not hateful. It's something that happened to you.
I'm in a really good mood.
Well, they fixed it, didn't they?
They did. Eventually. It took a little too long.
That's why Jose's no longer on the show.
Look, it's really complicated and technical, but the short of it is that I just could not. 4K was no longer available to either Josh or I on Disney Plus. I am curious to know if anybody else had that issue, but that's
why I brought it up. It was
weeks ago because
we found one thread about it where people are talking about it.
Yeah,
and then there's maybe 10 people in there.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious of what happened because I don't think there's.
I just don't want to give the Disney people ammo. The people that are just out, you know what I mean. So that's where I'm at.
They're not going to be watching the show.
Probably not. But
they're not gonna be watching the show. They would turn it off. They would turn it off.
The thing I was upset about, though, I'm still going to explain myself. I'm just saying I hate to give those people any kind of ammo, but the thing I was upset about is that Disney Plus didn't even update me once it was fixed. Roku did. After all the rigmarole that I went through with Disney Plus, Roku was the one that sent me the email saying Disney Plus updated their app. But so that was upsetting. Not happy with the Disney Plus customer service. But
now, that being said, if you guys ran into that, let us know. Did that happen to you? Did you notice it? Because when we were watching, we're like, this show didn't look all that. It didn't look as good as the others.
Yeah.
And then you hear about the budget and you're like, wait, what? And then he mentioned it that his 4K wasn't on. And I'm like, well, let me check. And my 4K wasn't on. Or wasn't even an option. Not even that it wasn't on.
I like a lot of Star Wars things, though. that you guys have done, Disney.
You don't need to keep involved. Dude.
I'm not. Somebody's already in the comments. Shall. You know it's true.
Here, is it? I don't see the comment. Where is it?
No, I'm just saying. At this point during the airing, somebody's going to be in there.
This point?
Not
Like
now.
right now?
Like right now.
Just right here.
Spaceballs
Right
2 is
now.
a thing. We should talk about that later.
Right here, right now. I'll make the offer.
Jackie's a good character. I like Daphne Keane as an actress. I think that.
Wait, but you said Spaceballs too. I just got to mention this. Did you ever watch the cartoon?
There's a cartoon of that. You would know that. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was like
that you know
on.
that.
I think it was on Spike TV. It was a space. It had like 3 episodes, I think. But yeah, I think it was like on Spike TV.
Okay.
You can ask me how good it was.
How good was it?
Well, were you aware of it existing?
All right. I like Jackie. I like Jackie and May. I like their relationship. It's carried a lot of this for me when I go back and watch this last episode, which I did have issues with. Jackie and May, I like the building of the relationships between between the Jedi and you know, all the Jedi per se, except for Vernestra. I'll talk about her in a little bit. That's one of my problems, and I think I've heard a lot of people agree on this. I don't know. Even people that are like enjoying the show, I think, agree on Vernestra. But yeah, man, I don't know. Do you have favorite characters, Josh, of the show? I'll let you take the lead on this because I'm not.
I like Jackie. The Jackie is how you're supposed to say it.
You got it.
Okay, I don't know. Star Wars names are weird. I like Jackie, but I will admit I am just biased because I like Daphne Keane for playing X-23, one of my favorite Marvel
Sure,
characters.
but I mean, she's doing a good job in the show too.
Yeah, and she was also good in all his Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials, yeah.
His
I agree. She's very good in that show.
She was great in that. I'm actually different than you on the relationship. I'm not against the relationship they're setting up between the two.
Oh
of them. I
no,
just wish there was one more episode of before we get to this point. Because
okay, I got you.
You're a murderer. I'm coming to arrest you, and then
can you say that?
You know, huh?
Murderer?
What, murderer?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the things that they. Never mind. Just keep going.
No, the K one.
I don't want to ruin the flow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, but I don't know. Are you even monetized?
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're fine then.
It's not.
We're talking shop, kids. This is how it works. But no, it's like, oh, you know, you're I'm not gonna say it like that. You're a murderer. I'm coming to arrest you. You need to go to space prison. And then it goes, oh, you know, what you up to? How you doing?
Yeah.
You like stuff? I like stuff. I wish there's one episode of the middle where we got more of them to develop that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem with this show.
Well, no, I agree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm saying I like what we have, but if I had the option to have more, I would definitely take it. You know, like not even like one more episode, just make this episode about 45 minutes long and flesh it out better.
That's another,
yeah, like because I did feel like the goal of the episode was to try to get us used to a lot of these relationships and how they were going to play out. And I do feel like I like what we got, but if I could have more, I would take it, you know, because I would probably, and I feel a lot, I think a lot of people would feel the same way, that if they could have just had more, you know, to flesh it out better, probably would have went a lot better. I mean, for them in terms of viewing. Yeah.
But there is one that is worse.
Yeah.
And I actually think is a huge fault to the show. And that is when May turns her back on the Sith Lord, Kylo Ren, and she was like, oh, that I know, my sister's alive, I'm loyal to her. The sister I tried to burn alive. Where's that switch? What happened?
Yeah, she changes her mind quicker than I could let out a fart. It's really odd.
I was shocked. I thought you know, like, you ever, like, we talked about this when you saw Spider-Verse, you kind of dozed off and you missed a few things. Then you're like, that made no sense.
Yeah.
I thought that happened to me.
And
then it just came out of nowhere.
That
worse than Jackie and Osha? Yeah, Osha.
I've talked to people. Okay, this is like kind of a tangent, but kind of not. It's going to dive right back into the show. So, because I've talked to people about movies that I like that are slower burns, right? And people always go, it was too slow, too boring for me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I felt like the pacing was just right. And I was like, I'd rather have it be too slow than too fast. And people are like, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, this is a good example of that, this last episode, because it's not only that the pacing is, because I've heard people say, like, oh, how could the pacing be too quick? I'd rather things feel fast and easy. It's like, no. What you don't understand, and this is how it felt, is it's not just that, like, it feels like the creators are in a hurry to get the episode done. When the pacing is short, it feels like all the characters are also in a rush, because like the conversation between like May and Chimere, for example, like those all feel rushed. Like, we're not getting enough development on, as you were saying, on May and Jackie for you to enjoy it. I like what we got again, but I would take more. You know, it's that, you know, it's that type of thing that I'm talking about when the pacing just feels too quick. It's like, if everybody's in a hurry for something.
It's that breakneck speed of Rise of Skywalker again.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, oh, now we're here. Oh, now we're there. Oh, we're
Rise of Skywalker suffered the same issue. I feel. Yeah. Felt paced a little better than this last episode, but yeah, no, I agree. And then notice how, like, oh, by the way, another great example of this, and I'm not saying the whole show was like this, but Bad Batch got my favorite Star Wars season of television right now is Bad Batch season 3. I just thought it was solid from beginning to end, and like I have next to no flaws with that season. The reason that I like Bad Batch season 3 significantly more than Bad Batch season 1 and 2 is because it slowed down and it focused on character and like just built everything. Like those episodes, by the way, 20 minutes long, and none of them feel like they are. They all feel like the right amount, you know? Like, it didn't feel like they were rushing toward anything. They're all about 26, 27 minutes long, maybe, you know? And maybe except for, I think the finale might have been longer, but either way. You know what I'm saying?
I will say, yeah, but I'll say, you know, I've been real, you know, like I even said earlier, it's like, oh, you know, you may be shocked I'm going to be harsher on the show than normal. Because I've been ruminating on it quite a bit. Yeah. And that's definitely episode 5 will be my, okay, is this show good or not?
How long is your rant? I need to
it's
put
not a rant.
I need to put the screen on you. How long is your point?
Oh, it's not that long.
Can you make it longer? Can you slow down the pacing?
To do what the show should be doing?
No, I just need you to talk for a second. I just gotta I'm putting the screen on you. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Go ahead.
Hi. My name's Josh. I also go by Begotten King. I've made many short films. I'm trying to pad this out as long as possible so Dom can do whatever he's doing. But I will say, I've been mean to this show, a little rude, but I am watching it every week without dreading it like I did Book of Boba Fett. I hate Book of Boba Fett. It is just horrible. That is awful. Just terrible. And how much longer do I need to pad this out, Dom?
Till about now.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway.
Was that long enough? Was that good? Did you like that?
It was perfect.
Because I don't like Book of Boba Fett.
No,
that is what I'm saying. Everyone's like, oh, this show. I'm like, yeah, but Book of Boba Fett did come out. You remember that, right?
You know what's strange?
On the Vespas?
You know what's strange? Tried it again today.
Dom, I thought you said you were in a good mood.
I am.
Oh, please do share.
And I'm like literally not trying to make this a Star Wars shit fest or poop fest or whatever. I'm just sitting here like, look, man, there are shots. I said this. If you guys watch my review on the channel, I said there are shots in the first episode of Book of Boba Fett that should have been a red flag. And I watched it again today, and I feel about the same. They should have been a red flag. Not the whole show. I started the first episode, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, some of the shots, the pacing is off. Very off.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Obi-Wan show, but there's things that I can definitely compliment. I love all the scenes with Vader and him.
Yeah.
Obviously. There's nothing in Book of Boba Fett I can go, well, you know, that was pretty good. I mean, I guess when Mando showed up and took over his show for a bit, but even then, I just like that should have been
those two episodes are good. The two, yeah, they're good episodes, but they don't feel like Boba Fett episodes. That's the problem.
So that's the thing. It's like I'm harsh on Acolyte, but I will say I am definitely enjoying Acolyte way more than I enjoyed Book of Boba Fett.
It's consistent to some degree. Like, yeah.
When the first we'll jump back because we've been on episode 4 for a minute. I'll jump back to episode 1.
Yeah, let's go all the way back.
They
Yeah.
did the excuse me, got a frog in my throat. When they did the first 2 episodes, they did them back to back, and at the end we got in a little group chat, gave our first impressions. Huh? Yeah, they did episodes 1 and 2 back to back.
They did come out on the same day, didn't they?
Yep.
Oh wow, okay. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So they did them back to back, and we got in our group chat and gave first thoughts, and my thoughts still the same. I do like it.
They're good episodes, I think. Good.
I don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
I don't know if they announced this beforehand. The whole May and Mai being twins. Was that announced beforehand? Or
no,
any?
No. That was all a surprise.
Okay, yeah, because I was legitimately like, oh wow, they're okay. I agree. That's cool. They're twins. I didn't know where it was going, and I still don't. Which is good. Yeah, I'm still intrigued. I'm intrigued enough to spend a night talking about the show. We spent 2 nights talking about the show.
Good.
Now, if you said, "Hey, Josh, I'm doing an episode on Book of Boba Fett," you know what's going to happen?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I just don't care. Like, Book of Boba Fett legitimately bored me. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's why I guess I could have gave this rant when I guess you had to disappear to Oz for a few minutes.
No, you're good. No, I love being in the conversation when I can. I just had to take care of something real quick. But yeah, I think going back, because we've had a whole trek, as May would say, that was one of the lines that bugged me a little bit, not gonna lie, in the last episode, when she was like, I had to fight a Wookiee after this trek. It felt off, that line.
Are we going to address the Wookiee in the room?
Yeah, we can. Are you upset?
I'm gonna quote Voice Critical Charlie, because I watched his review. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
It's pretty funny, and he's like, at one point he's just like, "Oh, brother," and then they take the Wookiee Jedi, the thing they've been advertising, everyone's excited about.
We're still getting
and they turned him into a spooky Halloween prop.
We're still getting the Wookiee Jedi one way or the other. I know we are.
No, we're not. He's in heaven. Exists in Star Wars.
Something
exists.
exists.
This is a real tag.
What's funny about that is, like, even the original trilogy, they'll say, "What the hell?"
I question that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that always threw me off because, or just, I don't know. I guess you know what? Google.
You can.
No, I am. I'm Googling right now.
Wikipedia before they get sued. Anyway, the thing that I was going to.
Hell is heaven.
He's on a mission.
And I just always wondered this because I mentioned to my brother, because I mean, my brother has way more Star Wars lore and fandom than I do. And I was like, is heaven? Because I remember they I think it was Rex was like, the hell or something like that. I'm like, wait, is hell a thing?
Well, not only that, like I think even Han Solo said, "What the hell?" in the original trilogy. There's a lot of that was probably just
Harrison Ford on set. Going,
oh, I'm sure.
And George is like, I'll use it.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of what the hell in Star Wars.
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
Star Wars.
Good time.
So heaven and hell. Let's see. So Star Wars doesn't have an analog for our heaven, but everyone does. Straight to hell. What?
I don't know.
No, I'm all right. So when you Google something, and like it'll give you like the most popular answer type thing.
Yeah.
So Star Wars doesn't have a heaven. Does everyone go straight to hell after they die? That's a terrible thought. But Han Solo seems awfully confident that he'll see the unknown rebel technician again someday. That gave me no answer.
You know what, Josh?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. All right.
Let's wind it back. Is there heaven and hell in Star Wars? Tom, take it away.
All right. No, yep, that's it. I wish I knew.
No, you're supposed to play the clip again.
Oh, now?
What is?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, there we go, kids.
Anakin was one sassy man. Anyway, look, I gotta say, going back through our journey through the show, yeah, the first 2 episodes I thought were very solid. I enjoyed them. I thought, first and foremost, I mean, I thought it stood out because everything is jarring. That's one of the things you got to realize. Like, everything about the show is jarring because it's different. It's a time period we haven't seen in live action, so there's that. B, it's just going for something different. Like the structure it's a completely different structure, tone, everything. And I do think in a way we do need to embrace the new. I feel that if we don't embrace somewhat of new, or at least the idea of trying new things in Star Wars, then we're never going to get anywhere with this franchise. But all that said, I mean, I do get why it's jarring for some people to see, but jarring isn't bad. I've been saying this forever. Like, everybody's like, not everybody, sorry. A lot of people, I do think, confuse jarring for bad. Like, there's a difference between seeing something. Okay, perfect example. I'm not going to get into a lot of the hate online or anything, but I have seen critiques, I suppose, where people didn't enjoy the chant of the witches, and that's fine if it didn't land with you. But I'm also wondering, how do these witches that we've never seen before chant? You know, and it is different. And when I saw it at first, I did one of these moves where I was like, I had to like move my face closer to the screen. I almost wiped my eyes a little bit, you know, just trying to like, I was like, huh? I did one of those. And I watched the episode again, and I was like, you know
turn
what?
to a Three Stooge when you watch these shows?
I get in this case,
a cartoon.
Yeah, when something's jarring, sure, when something's jarring, but I don't think that this is me talking about my opinion on it. Watching it again, I was like, okay, you know, this is just how these witches are. Like, who am I to decide? You know,
witches be crazy.
That's all. That's where I'm at. And I think that is in a lot of the first two episodes. Again, I think maybe going back and watching the first two episodes again, my issues are almost similar to the one I had with this episode, which is it's just paced way too damn quick. I think the writing was better in the first two episodes and some of the direction. But I do think overall, my overall issue with the show is just paced too damn quick. It feels like they're in a hurry. Like, would you, if you were a betting man, Josh, and you were able to like place a bet on this and actually get your answer and win some money,
okay,
would you say that they cut a lot more out of the show than the creator intended?
Yes,
I agree. Like that's how I feel when I watch it. Yeah,
if I remember, because this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, is because Daphne Keane, I think said it. I'm pretty sure said in an interview that Jackie has a crush on Osha.
Is that true? I was wondering about that. I just couldn't tell.
See, Acolyte just got even more.
Again, if we had more time with them, maybe we'd be able to.
Daphne Keane confirms Jackie is crushing on Osha.
Okay.
So I've been seeing that article in multiple places. I haven't like looked into it, but
it's a weird thing to confirm before we got it confirmed in the show. But okay, yeah, maybe.
Like I said, it went from
maybe
a murder to I have like. Maybe, but that feels like something that you wouldn't.
I mean, if it is, I don't mind. I'm just like,
I don't care. My whole point on it is this:
we don't feel it.
You're a murderer. I need to have you arrested. I don't trust you to. You're pretty cute, I guess.
In a very short amount of time. Yeah. Well, the line that in the last episode, I know we keep going to this last episode, but it's fresh on our minds.
Fresh on our minds.
Fresh on our minds, right?
I think it is the episode that's kind of the most telling.
The only thing that
issues
alluded to me to maybe there being something between them in that way was the line where it was maybe a little flirty when Osha was like, "Don't tell me you'll miss me if I leave." That was maybe a little flirty, but I could see two people who aren't romantically involved saying that to each other. I guess, especially like women. Like I could see that. Like women do talk like that to each other sometimes, but I guess that did feel a little flirty. I could see it, and I don't mind if that's where they want to go. Great.
I want it more developed.
Yeah, I just don't. Other than that, I don't have any like. I love their chemistry on screen, but like I don't feel it in a romantic way yet. I wish I did. If that's where they want to go with it.
It feels like we got to get to these plot points, but they just jump to them without actually filling the meat.
Yeah.
Of it, like, it's that breakneck speed of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Again.
I will say I have heard the rumors. And I don't know how true they are. I've heard a lot of rumors, and again, like maybe Leslie Headland herself was like, hey, I want the episodes to be shorter. I don't know. But I heard rumors, with Dave Filoni being chief creative officer, that he wants to take the faster, more intense approach. I heard a rumor that he doesn't love the Andor approach of longer, more fleshed out, and he likes the faster, more intense, shorter. The quicker we get to it, the better. That's what I heard.
Didn't feel like that though.
I agree. That's why it's kind of so surprising. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
I don't.
That's why I get a rumor. I'm not pointing fingers. It's a rumor. Yeah.
I was to say the likeliness of the rumor is what we're discussing, not actual.
Yeah.
Oh, this rumor's fact. But
sure,
I could see it for the fact that he worked in the cartoons, which are 22 minutes long.
Yeah.
So he's used to that quicker story. But then Ahsoka did feel very.
I thought Ahsoka felt right.
Yeah, it felt the time it needed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
I never felt like, the episode could have been a little bit longer.
And also,
I wanted it longer because I was so enthralled by it.
The other reason I almost don't buy it is because Dave Filoni, on all the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I really do think he's as humble as he comes off, is always like, hey, listen, I don't know shit about live action. I'm still learning, from these people who are experienced in live action. So if you got Leslie Headland, who is an experienced showrunner, and you would think she'd be like, listen, this is how TV's paced, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying a creative didn't cut it down. I bet you they did. I'm just saying, I don't know if I necessarily buy it was Filoni in this case, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe his animation mind.
We don't know, but...
Yeah. Maybe his animation mind got a little ahead of himself on this one and was like, yeah, I think they should be I don't know. And who knows how it looked before stuff was cut out, because maybe it was worse. Because that's always the possibility that I offer. Like, some people are like, on multiple projects, not just Star Wars stuff, like a lot of people will say things like, oh, they shouldn't have meddled or cut it down. It's like, who knows how it looked before they did that, though? Maybe it was worse.
Not everything is Snyder cut. Like, where it's like, adding
exactly
stuff to it made it a better movie.
Exactly. Sometimes it just makes it worse when they're longer. And even though we're saying that we think it would benefit it, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't when they screened it. Maybe on... when they screened them, they were like, oh, man, this is, bad. Who knows? And maybe it's just like, I think if you can cut it down to a place where you and I are saying, it's fine, then you're doing your job,
I'll be watching it on Tuesday, like.
Yeah, somebody's doing their job. Somebody needs a raise if that's how they got it,
And, I was talking about this with my brother. It's kind of how I am with the Star Wars shows in general. Like, I even talked about it with you because I very much fell out of the fan bases. I just got tired of all of it.
Oh,
and
that's what sorry, real quick. I mean, that's what I was trying to say in the beginning. Like, that's what I feel this show was born out of, is like two people who I think we almost had a very similar journey. Like, I think I always held a little more hope than you, but like, I still think more than we had a very similar journey, and like, I got sick of it too. Like,
I just hate how much everything is politicized about it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Battle. It's like, okay, so if Acolyte does come out, let's say Acolyte finishes, and I think it's the worst Star Wars thing ever. It doesn't take away A New Hope. It doesn't take away Empire. It doesn't take away Return of the Jedi. It does take away anything I love. It doesn't take away any of the figures I have. I just won't like the show. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. I love the Halloween movies. Halloween 6 is abysmal. Halloween Resurrection is abysmal. But it doesn't take away from the first movie, because I could just treat it as the first movie is its own thing.
I had New Hope on yesterday.
Yeah.
Loved every bit of it. Still. The magic's still there in New Hope. Put it on. Try it out, folks. It's still there.
It could be because, I'm a huge comic guy, and everything comics gets retconned. Like I just mentioned X-23 a minute ago. X-23 was the clone of Wolverine. Now she's a biological daughter. Like that or not, whatever. It doesn't take away from those other comics I had, because those comics right there and says, oh, she is a clone.
That's why I'm so excited to dive into the publishing with you, like the books, because at some point, because, I think that maybe that has spoiled us too, because we do dive into some of the publishing and we're kind of like, we're like, man, we get so much in the publishing. You know what I mean? Like there's so much detail and like, oh man, my dream would be for them to go to Timothy Zahn or Claudia Gray or James Luceno and say, hey, let's we'll give you somebody who's done TV before, but let's work together to map out a TV show. Like those guys.
And
oh man.
Like, I mean, wishful thinking, but definitely sky's the limit.
That's what I mean. It's like
we could get one of these people on the show. One of the authors that wrote one of these books or something.
I would love to have them.
I mean,
I would love to.
reach out, see what happens. Sky's the limit, but that's what this show's basically to cover all things Star Wars. So we were talking about doing the vintage cartoons that's on there, like Droids, Ewok Adventures.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, have you read Lost Stars? I can't remember. Claudia Gray's book. That was her first Star Wars book.
Is that like one of the early like YA novels that came out?
Bro, yes. That is
not crappy on it for being a YA novel. I just remember it being.
Oh no, I know you're not. Yeah. It's a good.
Yeah. Okay, I know this cover. Yeah,
very
I haven't read about
good YA. It's just begging to be adapted to a Disney Plus series. That's what I'm telling you, man. And if you could stay true to that and just make that, you know what I mean? Like, let Claudia Gray be on the set and everything and oversee it to some degree. But like those types of stories, man, is what they need to be going for. They have some really good writers in publishing right now that they can use.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just, it's funny because we're like, it's a YA book, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars basically is just a YA franchise. There's nothing too crazy in it.
Right. It's like
it's just kind of weird that book got put in the YA section, but then
but in general,
or the Padme books are in the adult section, like that. But
I think a lot of folks, and I'm probably guilty of it too, got caught up in a lot of what Star Wars is in publishing, and publishing is probably to blame for this. Because I think the more adult stuff did really start in the publishing of things. You know what I mean?
Death Troopers.
Right.
That book. It's a straight up gory horror film.
We're going to talk about that at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something we already talked about doing. It's a very short book and easy to cover. Quick read. But no, there's children that get eaten in it. It's
that's what I mean. It's that stuff came from publishing. Yeah.
A B horror movie.
Yeah.
And have you ever looked at the Death Trooper statue they put out?
I have not.
You can literally remove pieces of the armor and his intestines will hang out, or you can rip off the arm. It's cool. It's awesome. I've seen it in person, but I've never grabbed it.
Yeah. But even beyond that, yes, that is adult in one way, but I think I'm talking more of maybe the James Luceno stuff where it's more politically driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, George integrated the politics into New Hope. You can see it there and all that. I think George, did a lot of that type of stuff, but George did a lot of goofy stuff too. But I'm saying overall, if you look at the publishing, of James Luceno's books, this is a bad example because it's current canon, I guess. But I'm saying you look at his Catalyst book, the Rogue One prequel, that's an adult book. And I'm saying when we read stuff, it's a great book. But I'm saying when we read stuff like that, I think it gets into a lot of our heads we'd just rather see this on TV because it is so well developed, so well fleshed out. But, it's important to remember, it's funny to say it, the same company that's making these TV shows is making these books, or at least greenlighting them and making, letting them happen.
Well, I remember Collider one time was interviewing one of them, and they kind of get free control. There's you can't use these certain sayings, but other than that, go nuts.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, they do have to. Everybody consults with. It's really weird. It's an odd structure. It's kind of hard. Yes, usually they're just go nuts with it, but at the same time, I don't know. It's weird. They do have different structures within the story group. There's certain people that take care of certain things, so you have to go to different people for different things. For the most part, yes, they do just kind of want you to go nuts. But let's say E.K. Johnston, one of my favorite writers, she writes YA in Star Wars, by the way, but she's one of my favorite Star Wars writers working. Did the
Ahsoka, right?
Ahsoka, right. Yeah. Well, she couldn't get by anything without talking to Dave. Nobody can do anything with Ahsoka without talking to Dave Filoni. It's his character. So it kind of goes, I think, the same. At least from my understanding, it's the same thing for everybody. If somebody wanted to do something with Rey in a book, I do think they have to run it by J.J. Abrams. It's his character. He made it. I think that's how they kind of work. And then as far as can we do this? Does this overlap this? They do have to talk to a story group. Now, I know people have nitpicked these they're very minor so far, contradictions in canon. I think people make too big of a deal over them. Because can you imagine even being the story group of Lucasfilm? Tracking everything? It's got to be difficult. So, my point is And the other thing about that is they said a long time ago, like, look, it's tough because there's things that the story group's done that I agree with and things I don't agree with, but personally, but at the same time, I will give them credit in terms of, like, they did say a long time ago, like, look, if we adapted a different way on screen, that is what's canon. You know, like yes, these books are canon for now, and for the most part, even the minor contradictions that they've made, they're still the point A to point B in a lot of these canon books are still the same thing. You know, like the overall journey is still the same. Like you got to look at it like The Last of Us, like how Last of Us adapted their thing, you know, to TV. I think it's almost kind of the same thing, you know, that they're trying to do. It's like
some things work better in books, some saying works better on TV, and
yes, exactly. And then they have to compromise once in a while. I think when you look at these minor contradictions, they really are pretty minor. And you can nitpick it and be like, if you're one of those people that you really want to be beholden to every little canon thing, fine. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, I think you're going to drive yourself miserable by doing that because, like, there are going to be minor contradictions. Like the first one that I remember coming up was Cobb Vanth. Cobb Vanth was in the Aftermath novels, and he was introduced in season 2, episode 1 of Mandalorian. But it made sense to put him there because he was the last one with Boba Fett's armor. You know what I mean? And like you needed to have him, like otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So it's like you can, and then he gives his backstory, and in his backstory of how he got the armor, that's where the minor contradictions were. But the point A, the point B of it was still the same. And also the other thing about it is like you got to give him credit for at least pulling somebody, and he was a small character in Aftermath. Somebody like Cobb Vanth, great character, but small. Like, he's literally in one chapter of each of the 3 Aftermath books. Like, he's that minor and that minimal. And it's not even like chapters, it's like interludes. So, you got to give him credit for at least paying enough attention that they would pull him because it was the thing that made sense. Because when I heard Boba Fett was going to be in the series, prior to Mandalorian season 2 coming out, my first thought was like, wait a minute, you got to have Cobb Vanth then somewhere, because I was like, because he's the one with Boba's armor in that time period, you know, so you got to pull him in, and they did. So I give them credit.
So it's this will be a good segue for something I will be quiet on because I don't really know anything about this character.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
long tangent.
This is a perfect segue for what something you mentioned earlier. The character you have a problem with in Acolyte.
Vernestra, thank you. Yes, that is a perfect segue.
I know nothing about her, so I can't really contribute to it, but you know.
All right, so
I think good time to mention it.
Look, all right, so see, what made me a little more upset is I heard that the actress that's playing Vernestra Rowe in this series, she's a friend of Leslie Headland's, and she's worked with her before in like Russian Doll and other projects, and excuse me, but I think that, yes, I do have a slight issue with this character. Actually, probably a bigger deal for me because I am a book reader. Now, I did say I don't mind minor tweaks to canon on screen. That's one thing. But the difference is like when they brought Cobb Vanth onto the screen, Timothy Oliphant played that character from the book. Like, he's still that character from the book come to life. You know what I mean? Vernestra, I'm having the opposite experience. I read that character, and it could be me. Maybe I just read it this way, but I read that character in the High Republic books as somebody would, and granted, she was younger in those books and a little more youthful anyway, but she just had so much life to her. And I mean, I would ask you your opinion on this. I mean, do you think so far from what you see in Vernestra that there's any life to this character? I mean,
she's forgettable.
I
don't know her name. Like, she's forgettable.
And this is a child prodigy in the Jedi Order. Like, not like Anakin. Again, guys, I want to be careful because I know some people are going to be like, well, everyone's Anakin if she's a prodigy. It's like, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. Read the book and you'll see. But she's just beyond her skills. I think she's the first one to be knighted, like the youngest person, I'm sorry, at the time anyway, to be knighted, you know, and she reached her knighthood, so to speak. And she's a really good character. Like, you know, spoiler alert slightly for anybody who hasn't read A Test of Courage, a really good book. I recommend it. But Vernestra, like as a Padawan, a lot of that book is, her and a group of Padawans. They get lost, and then they're basically like their ship goes down, and they get lost. And it's a junior novel, so it's a kid's novel, but very dark for a kid's novel. And a lot of what happened, like a Padawan starts to give into the dark side. Like he's a real pain in the ass throughout the entire book. Anyway, he's a youngling. Starts to give into the dark side, and like it's a really insanely cool moment, the way that Vernestra like pulls him back to the light. It's something you got to read, but anyway, that's my point. Is like, and granted, she's been through a lot, so maybe she's tired, but like I just feel like that character to me just it meant a lot to be reading. I was like, damn, this is one of the characters that stands out, and I am excited to follow throughout the entire High Republic book series. Haven't read them all yet, but I like what I've read so far. And that's one of those characters that just like, it's the one that stands out to me. And then in this series, she's, like you said, Josh, the most forgettable character of the whole thing. And that should not be the case. And I'm not blaming the actress entirely. I'm sure in another role, she's perfectly fine. I just call it a miscast. I just think it's a complete miscast. And it baffles me from somebody like Leslie Headland, who claims she's read the High Republic publishing. She loves those books, apparently, and that's one of the choices that really baffles me. Maybe we'll be surprised. I know in the trailers we saw the light whip. I'm excited to see that thing on live action, trust me, because that was a big part of the books. Those are light whip. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I get surprised by that. And I've even heard people who like the show other than me. This is like, yeah, Vernestra is one of the points that I'm kind of disappointed in. Big High Republic fans are a little bit disappointed in that character. So it's not only me, but again, I think we maybe all interpreted that character differently than we thought, or Leslie Headland interpreted that character differently than, the rest of the fans thought. I don't know, but what do you think?
So I kind of have something similar. It's a little different. It's not as
I'm gonna put it on you for a sec.
Yeah, go ahead. So do you remember the micro series?
Yeah.
It's not what they call it. No, though it was Clone Wars before the Clone Wars series. It was Dave Filoni.
Yeah, the 2D micro series. Yeah.
So I remember as a kid when Grievous debuted, and I loved him. I thought he was the coolest thing. And then when I found out Grievous was going to be in Revenge of the Sith, I remember seeing it, and like he gets killed in 2 minutes, and my dad just leans over. He's like, "That's the character you're excited about?"
Yeah.
Because he wasn't what I remember from the cartoon, which is fine. That his lungs got crushed, whatever,
Right.
But it's a similar situation. I'm like, oh, I love this character, and then I get to see him on the big screen, and he's not what I wanted him to be.
Right.
Or he's not being represented the way, because I was like, oh, this would be cool to get my dad to watch the cartoon, maybe. And then the character, I'm hyping up all the way in the car ride, like, yeah, and he does this, he does that, and he gets killed pretty quickly.
Right. I do agree with you, because in the sense of, sorry, awkward silence. Trying to fix something here.
So
anyway, sorry.
Late night guys.
That's no.
We're totally professional.
I agree with you in a lot of sense. Like, I see how you not misinterpreted, but you know what I mean. Like, I see, like, because I know that micro series, I've seen it, and I can see that.
Yeah,
I relate to what you're saying. Anyway, my point is yeah, no, for sure, man. It's weird to see somebody who was announcing, hey, I'm such a fan of these books, and I hope that this gets people into the publishing. It's like, you're not doing a very good job on that aspect, I gotta say. Like, I will say, like, the Jedi being a little bit more sympathetic to other people's problems, for sure, they're getting that right. At least with Master Soul. Because
Saul's just so wholesome.
For sure. I think Lee Jo Jae is good. By the way, I think he's killing that character. I think he's knocking it out of the park. Some of the writing they're giving him, I'm not a big fan of. Really just minor things. I mean, I didn't like going back to that bug scene. I didn't like, I have it. I thought that was a weird line. Like, it felt like the batter going up to the plate, right? And it was even more strange because, like, I have it, and it's like, well, yeah, nobody else is volunteering. Of course you got it. Like, nobody else pulled out the lightsaber. What do you think? But outside of that, like, I do feel like the Jedi could feel a little bit more like going back into the council scene. where Ki-Adi-Mundi is. I know that's a sore spot right now, but where Ki-Adi-Mundi is in that whole sequence where the Jedi are speaking, it just feels a little too similar right there anyway to the way the Jedi were in Phantom Menace. Like we're supposed to be 100 years prior, and like it doesn't feel like we evolved enough.
Exactly.
That's how they are.
I was watching it. I'm like, well, I guess the Jedi are still the same. Like,
yeah, it didn't feel any different.
Like our political leaders, all that were the same 100 years ago, and just nothing's changed.
It's like, true, but and then again, when you read the High Republic stuff, granted, there are some things in the High Republic that is like, damn, that's realistic because that hasn't changed. Some things. But as far as like the Jedi Council, like the Jedi was, they were what Obi-Wan pitched. They were the guardians of the peace, the peace and justice in the galaxy, and they, but in the High Republic, there's something like a little bit more majestic to them, and in the books anyway, and in this series, it's not really illustrating that to me. So it really does. It makes me wonder, and maybe they're saving stuff again. Maybe we'll see some stuff where like, oh, okay, there you go.
I don't know what they're saying. They're running out of time.
I have 4 episodes left. We're halfway through, right? We're at the midway.
So we got
point.
about 40 more minutes.
Yeah. Do you think Yoda pops up?
You cut off, buddy. You're muted.
Hang on. Can you repeat that answer? Sorry. Do you think Yoda pops up?
You were saying we still got 4 episodes left. Is that what you're asking me to repeat?
Oh, no. No, I got that answer. Do you think Yoda pops up?
Oh, Yoda pops up. Maybe a last scene type thing, like, look at that, it's him.
I feel like, and it's not a nostalgia fan service thing. I just feel like it is, but like it's a fan service that makes sense. Just as much as I defend Luke Skywalker, he made sense in the last episode of Mandalorian season 2. I think Yoda makes just as much sense to have here. Like, I think you have to have him. Like, I'm assuming, and we can only speculate from trailers, but because we saw Vernestra's light whip or whatever, right?
Yeah, she's going to get involved somewhere.
Right. I think I can only assume, just based on that it feels like they're, it's like in that scene anyway, it feels like the Jedi, almost like in Attack of the Clones, where all the Jedi come to save the other Jedi. Like, it feels like maybe one of those types of scenes. And I would think like Yoda would have to be one of them. Like, even if it's just a cameo, it just makes sense because he's around, Like, I almost feel like you can't get away with not having him in the show. It'd be really odd to me if he didn't pop up.
I feel like I think he'll be the Luke. Like, it'll be that.
Yeah, sure.
I can see them down on their. It could be like the same. They're about to lose, down on their luck. Yoda shows up.
Sure.
Saves the day.
Josh, I really have to use the restroom. Can you?
I do too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, weird.
I don't have a break thing, but maybe I can do this. Hang on 1 second.
You go, and then I'll go.
Okay. Why don't you tell the audience why you think they should subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Why don't you do that really quick, and then I'll be right back.
Why should they? I don't know.
I don't know. Figure it out. Maybe, maybe. But I want them to. How about that?
Okay,
let me go. Figure something.
No,
out.
let's do reverse psychology.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
So he's going to go to the bathroom, but I'll take some time here to kindly tell you why you should. Because we would like to get authors like I talked about, and we're going to be talking about all things Star Wars. So who knows? Maybe Timothy's on. We could get him on the show if we get big enough, or he sees it and he goes, hey, look at that. These people actually have a little bit of traction. I should, spend some time on my busy Friday night to talk to these fellows about my books and other great things I've done. We will be talking about, like I said, the animated series of droids and the Ewoks and the live action Ewok show. We're going to watch that and give a little review on it. I've never seen it other than when I was like a little jelly baby and my brain didn't work good. And I think same with Dom. So I hope he finishes using the bathroom soon, because I'm running out of reasons of why you should watch 2 out-of-shape men talk about Star Wars, other than them being sad and lonely. But maybe you can make us a little less sad, maybe a little less lonely. I hear a door opening, and here comes your Martino.
I'm back.
Dom's back. Dom.
Yes.
Well, I used the bathroom why don't you tell them why they should like and subscribe? Because I probably butchered it. I mentioned like, oh, maybe Timothy Zahn will show up, or maybe he won't. And then I just got talking about how sad and lonely we were.
You know what?
I wish I knew.
All right, no, I'm kidding.
We'll after these commercial messages. And remember, tip your waitress.
All right. I'm going to trust that Josh didn't say anything too crazy right there. But yeah, guys, you're on a drive. You're like, man, what do I listen to? Everybody likes Star Wars. Come on. At the end of the day, you can claim that you don't. But at the end of the day, you like Star Wars. Well, Starlight Shadows is going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So whether you're Android or an Apple user, you can have the show on either platform. Follow us there. Rate and review, by the way, on Apple, because that does help us out quite a bit. Let us know what you think of the show. I am so excited that we're finally on Apple. By the way, it was a pain in the ass to get on Apple. That's the other thing. Help us out, because we worked hard for y'all to get on Apple Podcasts. No, it wasn't that big of a pain. They were really gracious to accept us on their platform, and I'm so excited to be on it. So I do hope that you guys follow us there, rate, review, let us know what you think of our podcast feed. We also have movie mornings on the Extract Media podcast feed. And yeah, it's a really great way to give us some love, show us some love. How about that? That's what I'm going to tell Josh. That's our game plan. Every time he needs to leave the show, I'm going to tell him, look, man, you tell the audience, or I need to leave the show, rather. You tell the audience, show us some love. That's why. Because love is only good, right? Positivity over negativity. That's the MO of Starlight Shadows, guys. We hope you're loving this show. This is our first episode. It's a little rough, if you couldn't tell, but hopefully we're at least making you guys laugh a lot. Because Josh and I make each other laugh. Good buddies like that. Yeah. Anyway, Star Wars. Let's get right back into it. Sorry for the break there. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to time code this. We've been on so many tangents. I said I'll do my best. Josh is back to save my ass. Oh my God, you're back?
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Oh, thank God.
You know, Dom, that was harder than I thought it would be.
The pee?
Yeah. I should probably go to a doctor. No, just to like kill like dead air. You know, it's like, oh, you know, watch this, I guess, and click this and click that, because you know this is the time we're supposed to speak to the audience.
Yeah,
really get personal. Let them know that we care.
Yes. No, that's good.
Dom,
I like your
Dom. I really care this much.
Well, I told them that I was going to tell you next time I had to go pee. You tell them to subscribe, or sorry, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to show us some love, because positivity over negativity.
And you know what's funny? That works. As I said, we're sad and lonely, and maybe you could make us a little less sad.
You were close. You were really close.
See, you made it beautiful and poetic. I just made it brutally honest.
Yeah, I'm not quite
brutally
sure.
Honest.
Not quite sure how to segue back into Star Wars.
See that Bears game last week?
Yeah, hell of a game. Bears got a great team this year. Oh, they're going to go all the way.
I don't know.
And maybe, just maybe, if they subscribe and give enough love, that we can get Jose back after your horrible fallout you two had, and that's why I'm on the show now. Guys, in the comment sections, put what you think the fallout was.
That's a show I need to watch. Anyway,
But Fallout? You haven't watched Fallout?
I need to watch it. Yeah,
That's what we should be talking. The hell is Star Wars? All joking aside, him and Jose didn't have a fallout. It's more of a lover's coil, but it's fine.
Fair enough. Star Wars. All right. This Acolyte show is good. As we said, that's what we're talking about here. Metal Stenberg.
Fine. It's kind of fine. It's okay.
Yeah, he said fine. I said good. Metal Stenberg. Good actress. I like her.
Who?
May and Osha. I think she's a good actress.
Got you.
Good actress.
Oh, so I thought there was actually two twins.
In 3 it is for some reason. That's one of my things.
So 3 was 2 actual twins, and then...
No. 3 is 2 different people. And then for some reason, when they get older, they're identical twins.
The Force works in mysterious ways, or the thread.
Because we're talking about episode 3. Because episode 3 is the most extensive, and I was quite a fan of that episode. I might be in the minority, but I quite liked episode 3. Yeah, I thought it was
fine. It did its job.
It did its job, exactly. Except for that weird thing where that was like, that's odd. They're not identical there.
Know that. Wow, that's okay.
But Amanda Loy, yes, I was saying she's a good actress. She's playing May Anosha older. She's good. The actresses that they chose for that third episode, I think you and I both said they were a little rough at the beginning, and then they grew on us.
Just like, I don't know if we.
Some of it was the writing. Some of it was the writing.
Yeah, I don't know if we just kind of got used to it because at first, like, I mean, you always said the show's jarring, and that opening was very jarring.
Yeah. No. So I watched it again. I still had issues. Usually a guy can watch these again and be like, okay, I can iron out, some of my problems and get them out of the way. But like that one, the actresses just, I don't know. Either it's the writing or they're just not doing their job. Something is off about those actresses in 3, for sure. I would also argue that, well, here's the thing about episode 3. If we could dive into more of the themes, Jedis are kind of pricks, just a little bit. I mean,
if I may recall a time.
Recall time.
I remember I was at the Force Awakens back in the magic days where movie seats weren't reserved and you had to show up.
Yes.
And I was one of the people that were like 12 hours early. And I remember there was a guy in there. There's 2 guys. And they're arguing over, are the Jedi really that good? Because they're the only ones that can do the mind trick and influence your mind and all that. And where's the good in that?
Yeah.
So I always had that. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're kind of changing what the Jedi are and and all that. I've been hearing that. But after kind of hearing them talk about how the Jedi are the only ones that can do the the mind tricks and all that and take away the free will. Is this really that new of a concept? Have the Jedi?
It's not.
They haven't, like, in episode 1. There's like, oh, this is a child slave. All right.
I miss the days when we could talk about it to our friends about the controversy of the Jedi and not get called a shill or a bigot. I'm just being straight up about that because there was a time when we could have this debate, and one of your friends would feel one way, you would feel the other way, and you'd go about your day and enjoy Star Wars and yes, no, but you're right though. Outside of that, yes, it's not new. This debate is not new. Like, I know. I don't think it's the main thing that made people upset in Last Jedi. Maybe you can confirm or deny as a hater of that film. Not a hater, but somebody who disliked the film. But I'm saying like Luke bringing that concept back up. I don't think that's the issue with Last Jedi, if there is one. Like I'm saying, because he kind of did the same thing. Brought up the flaws of the Jedi from back in the day, and then here we are again. I think that for some reason, there's this common thread. I'm not putting anybody into a box.
You said thread.
Damn, I'm gonna get killed for that one. But there's a common theme amongst people who give Star Wars commentary on the internet. I'm not boxing anybody in here because I think all sorts of people feel this way. I'm saying that I think sometimes when we bring up this controversy about were the Jedi really right or wrong, and if any Disney project does that, I think sometimes people feel like their childhoods are getting attacked because in childhood it was a little more cut and dry for us. Like it was like Jedi are good guys and Sith are bad guys, like easy.
Yeah,
and it's not that easy, and that's why we're tackling these issues in Disney projects, I think, because it is a little more nuanced, and that's one of the things I could give this show. It's like, at least it kind of brought the nuance of that back up. It's not afraid to tackle that issue of the Jedi.
Well, it's kind of like too, like storytelling.
Gray area.
Like I'm not saying Disney has involved storytelling, but just in general, storytelling has evolved.
Yeah,
like back in the day,
right.
Jedi, they are the good guys. Why? Because they do the good thing. And then Sith for the bad guys, like if they do the bad thing. And now storytelling's kind of evolved where we have shows like Breaking Bad where Walter White is your main character, but he's a villain, but it makes you see from his point of view, so he looks like the good guy. Or not the good guy, but you root for him. But he's the villain. And or recently it's The Boys. Love that show. The Boys, the whole thing is everyone kind of sucks in that show no matter what. They're all terrible people.
Yeah.
And that's where storytelling's at now, and I think you can do that with Jedis and be fine.
And for some people, just calm down. Josh isn't saying this is on the level of The Boys or Breaking Bad, but what I will say,
it's not. But the
it's
storytelling
not.
in general, we've got stories to get us to this level where we can have it in Star Wars.
I'm helping you out because I know what you mean. I'm saying like, yeah, and I'll agree with any old soul. Part of what makes New Hope so great is that it is a simplistic story and it is good versus evil at the end of the day. That's New Hope.
Yeah, Sword of the Sorcerers stories.
And Empire expands on that, right? And Return closes it off for that time. But the problem with that is this is the film business, and the thing kept making money, and we got to find new ways to do it. You know, if you want more of it, and some people I do want to ask, like, is it that you just don't want anymore? Because if that's the case, just, you know, that's fine, you know. But I think we have a vast galaxy we can explore, and that's why we're here talking about it. And for me, I would argue that this is, you're right, it has evolved. Like, it needs to evolve. It needs to evolve to thrive. It needs to evolve to for us to have new conversations, and we need to be able to talk about these things comfortably, because most things in life, big surprise, have a gray area to them. Like, when we talk about them,
I mean, for God's sakes, in EU, remember the gray Jedis?
That's what I mean. It's like, yeah. And people were clamoring for that for a long time. Well, if they had brought like actual gray Jedis in there, well, then that would have gotten complicated too, you know. So we need to have a little perspective on that, where we can come together and just talk about this. And that's again, that's going back into the MO of the show and all that. Just trying to be able to talk about this in a peaceful manner. Even though I think you and I both agree on this Jedi point, where it's like they were definitely flawed. Like, they're definitely flawed. I'm not saying absolute pricks, but I'm saying like there's some of the practice there. Obviously, I don't know that they went about it the right way when they approached the witches about the children. You know, I could honestly say, hey, you know what? If I was an organization who was trying to bring peace and justice to the galaxy, I probably would have went about that very differently. Because I could understand Mother Anastasia getting a little defensive. You know, I could really understand it, because now granted, I also think she may have had an overreaction. And I think that, I don't know if that's one of the sore spots for some folks, but besides that, I think that, you know, we're seeing something that's very close to reality. It maybe hits close to home, where we're seeing these two factions, you know, who both are using the Force, who disagree. You know, they just do. They disagree on their approach. And at the end of the day, they could have made a lot more peace if they had just sat down and talked about it, had a conversation. And it felt like on either side, neither side of those two, the witches or the Jedi, neither of them just wanted to sit down and have a conversation about it. They wanted to immediately, their instinct was, you know, hey, this is the way. I'd be on the Jedi side, it's like, this is the way, no pun intended, for Mandalorian. And then on the witches side, it's like, let's use the Force and show our intimidations. Like, nobody wanted to hash it out.
The show's called Star Wars. That's how wars start, is over 100%. Things like that.
Yeah. And granted, it's great television. I think that type of stuff is great television. I think that's one of the better things about the show, was that sequence. I genuinely do. Because it was complex, and I was like sitting there like, okay, so this is I haven't watched any of Leslie Headland's other projects, but this is like, when I was watching that, I was like, okay, well, this is the Leslie Headland I've been hearing about all these years, you know, because I've heard about her and how great quality, you know, the great quality she delivers. And I was sitting there like, there you are. And that's why episode 3 was such a standout and a highlight for me. I was really enjoying that stuff.
Well, it's like, kind of like that's what you're just saying, like, you know, we were just talking about, you know, these simple misunderstandings cause wars, and maybe a grandiose saying, or maybe it could just be they could have sat down and talked it out. One of my favorite Batman comics is The Killing Joke.
Oh, such a great graphic novel.
I remember a part where, you know, where Joker's kind of doing his whole how everything's a joke is, do you know how many times World War III has almost started over a flight of geese getting caught on a radar?
Yeah.
Like, it's silly little things that it's, oh, this person said one thing wrong, and then this person took it this way, and then it escalates. That's why I think, you know, you see all the dead witches after the fire, but they're not burned or anything. So it's kind of alluding that the Jedi may have killed them. As I pitched to you guys, that night is, what if the witches blamed the Jedi for starting the fire that May started, and then it just escalated, and the Jedi had to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Because the one that's meditating, I forget his name, he said, we thought we were doing the right thing. So we still don't know
Torben.
Yeah, he says, I thought we were doing the right thing, and we still don't know what that meant.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, like, I'm hoping by the end of the season, part of the goal was for us to have questions this entire time. Because let me just dive off Torben. I agree with everything you just said there. Let me dive off of Torben really quick. Jump back a little bit into episode, I think it was 2, where she finally got Master Torben killed. Because he drinks that poison willingly, but before that, and I'm paraphrasing, he says something like, I'm sorry, or something like that, right? Like, what's he sorry for? You know?
Yeah.
I think that's the goal of the show. I would hate to think that they're just writing these things in there without wanting us to ask the questions, you know, and without wanting to follow up on this stuff. Like, it seems to be a lot of sore spots on the show in the discourse online and stuff is like people are like, I have so many questions, they're not answering anything. It's like, yeah, I think that's the point of this one. Like looking back, granted, I think I get why there's nerves, because granted, looking back on Force Awakens on things like, oh, that's a story for another time, we never get it followed up. I get the nerves, don't get me wrong, but excuse me. I'm going to reference another channel. I hate to mention other channels, but I'm going to try to reference this in a good way. Star Wars Explained as a channel I really like. I think that they got it right. However they talk about Star Wars, I just think that they have a really good balance, as we are trying to do here. I think maybe we might be a little more harsh than they are, because they get accused of loving everything per se. But one of the points that they brought up about the show is because and I'm going off of them because they have seen other Leslie Headland projects, right? Is they said that, as fans of Leslie Headland's other TV projects, this is par for the course, as far as like how many questions we have and things of that nature. My point is I think all of this is very much on purpose. Like I for the most part, like I think last week's episode or this week's episode per se, maybe kind of a fluke in the sense of like I do feel, and this is my personal opinion, because this director that directed this last episode was the first one that he did. I didn't check on the writers, to be fair, but I do think that part of it was the direction in this last episode that I'm hoping that, maybe it was a fluke of the director. Maybe they hired him because they knew he'd pull off the horror, quote unquote, at the end. I don't know. But because I do think comparatively between the first 3 episodes and this last one we just watched, did you and I not both agree that this one felt the most off? Like something felt just off.
Yeah,
like not.
That's why I said earlier in the episode, I was like,
yeah,
we're talking episode 4 a lot because that's the one that where all these glaring issues really shined. Like,
yeah, I guess it's easier to talk about it when you dislike it. Hate is all too easy. But no, you're right. There's a. But I do think that there is supposed to be, going back to the first 3, because we've talked enough about 4 now. I do think that there is supposed to be nuance in all this stuff, that they're laying out. I believe that. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm not wrong, because again, we could go back to the Force Awakens issue of all the mystery boxes being opened, I do think the difference here that can maybe give hopefully some folks assurance is Leslie Headland has overseen the entire project. It's not like in the sequel trilogy where
you handed off and
let's be real about what happened. I mean, it not only handed off. I mean, I think it was, JJ opened it up, Ryan handed it off, and then Trevorrow was supposed to close it. If you read that script, he had a great closing already set in mind, but I think they panicked due to the reaction to certain things. And I think that they asked JJ, and they brought in the corporate favorite. What's that guy's name who did it? He also was a writer on Batman v Superman. gosh dang it, Chris Terrio. They brought in corporate favorite Chris Terrio to co-write with J.J. Abrams, not Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Force Awakens with them, who's worked on Star Wars before, but they brought in corporate favorite Chris Terrio, and I've heard this about him, that he's literally, he's how would you say it? He's literally like a corporate writer. Whatever he's asked to write, That's what I've heard about Chris Terrio. I don't know.
Hired gun.
Maybe he has, hired gun. Thank you. Maybe he has higher ambitions. I don't know. Maybe he's still trying to work his way to original stuff. I don't know. But anyway, they brought in the hired gun Chris Terrio to work with J.J. Abrams to see if they could make a script that would please all ends of the fan base, and it backfired. That's what happened. We can call that out right now. That's just the truth. So anyway, the difference again, moving back into the show, Leslie Headland's overseeing the entire thing, so she has a vision for where she wants it to go. I'm not saying studio heads don't meddle. They do. I'm not saying creative chief officers don't meddle. They do, or chief creative officers, rather. They do. Executive producers meddle. Everybody's going to meddle, It takes a village to make a show or a movie anymore. But I'm saying, I think that the questions that are open, we're supposed to be waiting for, right? Help me out here, Josh.
My thing is, there's things I'm very much a hater of the, that story for another time and all that. And
nobody has to like that stuff.
I don't know if Acolyte's that yet or not. So I'm not going to go, it's being this, it's doing that. I don't know. I'm waiting for the whole story to be told. So then I can go,
for me
why
too.
Didn't they answer this question? Why didn't they answer that question? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? And it's just like, oh, well, this could mean it's like, well, I don't know yet. The whole story's not told. I don't know where it's going. I don't know. Next week, Yoda could show up. Yoda may not show up. I don't, there's no point to get super upset because the story's not fully told.
That's what I mean. Thank you.
Now, in the end, if the story just like, that was stupid. Why wasn't this answered? Why wasn't that a saying? But we're only halfway through this show.
We could come back next week and both be the most disappointed fans in the world, right? Because at the end of the day, both of us, either of us, or we can come back next week, have different opinions, and we can try to hash it out and figure out why.
I opened up with my ultimatum. That's the first thing I opened up with.
Right.
If Episode 5 doesn't do this, I don't think it's going to turn back.
Let's dive back into that, because I was trying to say earlier, I don't have an ultimatum per se, but I do think I'm at least going to give it till the end of the show, because I need it to just, I need to see what's going on. But there are things next week that they could do that could very much disappoint me. I don't think we talked about this yet, but who the Sith is. We need to talk about that a little bit, because is it Chimere, who's hung up in a tree somewhere? Last we knew.
I really hope not.
Me too. And that's one of the things. I'm not going to call it an ultimatum, but that's one of the things that I'm like,
or if it is, you really have to sell it.
That's what I mean. You took the words right out of my mouth. I literally told somebody this earlier. That wasn't you. I was having this conversation earlier because I told them, if it's Chimere, that actor better do a 180. Because, not that the actor's bad. I think he was supposed to be playing a goofball, I hope.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was.
Just how everything's coming off with.
But he's got to prove to me that he can convince me he's a Sith Lord, or not Lord, but Sith apprentice or Sith acolyte, or whatever they want to call it. Acolyte, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Because I do think that is supposed to be the acolyte, what we saw in episode 4. I don't think May's the acolyte. I think the Sith, because we already said that May, she turned quicker than I could change a pair of underwear. We already said that. Because of that, to me, it's either way, I don't know what that says about me and my underwear, but either way, she's
keep it PG.
Keep it PG. But either way, my point is I don't think, because of the information of that last week, I do think that she's not the acolyte. So I do think that this Chimere guy, or let's say he is the Sith, whatever the Sith is, that's supposed to be the acolyte, I think. And I hope there's another master, Sith Lord, that we're going to get into. That would be the way to win us over, right? Is okay, the Sith, Smilo Ren, that's the acolyte, and by the end of the show, we're going to give you a Sith Lord, somebody even grander than him. Maybe it's Plagueis. Now, I have a theory. You tell me what you think of this, all right? I'm not saying, again, I hate to give ultimatums because anything can happen. You can win me over in any kind of way. But let's say Carrie Ann Moss is the Sith Lord. See, that would be cool. Her master, the reason she didn't die when she got stabbed because her master is Plagueis. Now, granted, it's going to piss a lot of people off because you're changing time periods from Legends just slightly, apparently. But I always said from the very beginning, you bring Plagueis in, I think you're going to win a lot of people over. I really do. You know? Plagueis as a setup for season 2, Leslie Headland's already said she wants us to go multi-seasons. I'm waiting to see how she wants us to. But damn, bro. You know, like think about that. Because if Plagueis knew how to manipulate life, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm not saying it's what it's going to be, but it's a cool idea.
This is kind of, I mean, it's the Plagueis talk, but I was just saying, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be more technical speak
than
anything.
But no, on you.
What was the question? Oh, you're just going off screen. Yeah. Would you prefer Plagueis to be a CG character or kind of how they did... sorry for all the ums and ahs. It's very tired.
I'm going to allow you to share your screen, Josh, because I want to make a point here. I'm going to allow you to share your screen. Google a picture of Darth Plagueis for me. Just type in Darth Plagueis and see what pops up on images. I'm trying to get somewhere with this.
Yeah. But no, would you prefer him to be a CG character or would you prefer him to be the live action Cad Bane?
Cad Bane. You're saying like a comparison to how they did Cad Bane is what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Well, Google that picture and I'll tell you. Because I'm going to give you a second on this.
Give me 1 second.
I want to make a point here. And depending on what picture you pull up, my point might be completely wrong.
Actually, I have a better idea.
Yeah. Josh, I will be like right back. It won't be as long as last time, but I just need you to pull up that picture of Darth Plagueis. And,
all right.
And
I think you'll have to approve it first, so 1 second.
Talk about Plagueis for a second, if you could. Actually, you didn't really give your take on what you think of a Darth Plagueis going into the show. So just tell the people what you would think of Plagueis coming into the show, first of all, and then pull up your picture, and I'll make my point. So.
My thoughts on Plagueis being in the show is I'm going to quote Breaking Bad when Walter runs into the other guy selling meth is tread lightly. I feel like when you bring someone like Plagueis in, someone the fans been wanting for a very long time, that will be looked under microscopes on microscopes on microscopes on microscopes. It could win a lot of people over. It could completely just destroy what people wanted and make them even hate it even more. Plagueis, I don't know when I'd want him to show up. I don't know if I want him to show up in this show. I don't know, honestly. I don't know if this is the show for him. But I would say, if I personally was going to do it, I'm with Dom. I want to like Dom. I would want it like Cad Bane is. I would want the more live action character and the makeup and all that. But no, did you hear what I was saying about Plagueis?
Kind of, sort of, in a sort of, kind of way.
I said, basically, I would want it to be like, you remember in Breaking Bad when Walter runs into the other meth dealer and goes, tread lightly?
Sure.
That's what I would highly recommend for it. And I don't know if this is the show to do it, because this is something this is a character people have been wanting forever.
Maybe it could surprise us. I don't know.
It will be under magnifying glass, under magnifying glass, under magnifying glass. Sorry if people just heard me say it, but I'm going to catch Dom up.
I get you. I've done this before. I'm guilty of it.
Personally, I don't know if this is the show.
Back on you. I'm still
I
here.
would want to do it. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if it'd be the best move for him because I honestly don't know.
But let's say the
I'd be
show
curious
is like multi-season.
Oh, multi-seasonal.
That was kind of my initial point. Is like maybe Plagueis is a finale reveal. Maybe.
I have them pulled up on here. So
Oh yeah, okay. All right,
I have multiple examples. I might just have it on the Google Images.
All right, fair enough.
And you get some
So
good
we're
shots
looking
of them.
at. Yeah. I guess my overall point is, you look at them from picture to picture, like it varies from slightly from picture to picture. Now, granted,
I don't like him with the nose. The nose looks weird.
that's what I'm saying. So it really now for me to answer your question, I definitely would rather go a little bit more the Cad Bane route because I do think
That's what I was thinking.
despite my problems with Boba Fett, Cad Bane wasn't one of them as far as the look goes. I thought they nailed him and the look and the voice. Definitely the Cad Bane route to answer your question. The point I was making is I still feel like Plagueis is one of those ambiguous things. As far as what does he look like, what form and shape does he take? Now, if he has a head that's that long and that's going to be definitive, he ain't the one under the helmet that we just saw. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't think he's Smilo.
No. But I will say,
Are we done with the screen here?
yeah, go ahead. I'll put it back on the other one. But yeah, for me, I will say, I do think there's a lot of potential. Like, let's say it is Carrie-Anne Moss, right? Well, the only thing that would make sense for her, let's just go with it. But the only thing that would make sense for her to be the Acolyte per se is for Plagueis to be her master. That's how I feel, like, because she kind of cheated death. I mean, May got her in the heart in the first episode, so that's why I'm saying, like, Carrie-Anne Moss would be cool if you led to Plagueis, and if the show is what it's pitched, supposed to be the rising of the Sith, Plagueis makes a lot of sense.
It does. It would work. I just don't. It's that thing. It's just like, oh man, this could really backfire people.
This is random. Now, what I want to see, and I get you. What I want to see, though, if they do dive into that stuff, something about the aesthetic of the third episode, the set design, that was a little bit closer to what I was hoping for from the show. Like, the internal set design, it felt darker and everything. Like, I'd want that. Give me more of that. Or even the ending of this last episode. Like, give me more of that.
I remember it being kind of pitched more like a horror series when I heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. So are
like
we...
the blood covered posters and all that, like not blood covered, but it had like it looked like blood with the lightsaber.
Right. I'm not getting...
I haven't really got that from it.
Not to get anybody's hopes up, because I think a lot of people's hopes are down anyway, but so it doesn't matter what I say, but I not to get anybody's hopes up, but like, what if this whole first four is sort of this misdirect, you know what I mean? Like, it's, this is...
They debuted a set amount of episodes to people, right? Are we up to those episodes now? Is this new for everyone?
This is the 4 they showed the critics or the press.
So in episode 5 could be some big thing. That's why people haven't seen it yet.
That's what I mean. It's like, come on, like, at the end of the day, it's I think it ain't over till it's over, right? I mean, it really isn't. And I do think now, look, if we watch episode 5 and we come back with, like, okay, we have just as many problems, if not more, than we did in episode 4, big red flag. You know what I mean? Because it's already feeling like it's only been on a downward slope from 3 to 4. But I'm sitting here kind of like, but Leslie Headland made Russian Doll. People love that series. It's dark. It ain't just like some throwaway thing, and everything, at least from the visual stance of this thing, has been on par. I'm just saying, is it possible that in the first 4 episodes the strategy was to get us all arguing and talk about this thing in a weird way? Because shows they've done that,
Another sci-fi series, I mean, this was years ago, the Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
My dad absolutely despised that new series, hated it. We would argue about it every day, type of thing, because I loved it growing up.
Sure.
And it's funny now because when the story's all said and done, my dad now calls it one of the best sci-fi series he's ever seen. And this man fought that show tooth and nail. But when you got to that final episode, that big finale that they did, and how they ended it, he says it's one of the best.
I always think about that. Like, we all, the opinions are so strange right now. But like, what is the legacy of this era going to be? You know, I mean, did they actually do something legendary? That's one option, because they had, regardless of the controversy, they had everybody talking about this era of Star Wars. You know what I mean? You can say what you will, and again, I think I don't know if Book of Boba Fett's going to have a lasting legacy at all. But I mean, at this point, I can't see that personally, if I'm being real. But I also got to be a little real in the sense that, like, look, at the end of the day, this is they had everybody talking about Star Wars in this era. Like, they did something to the internet. You can't deny it. Like, they really did. Like, I'm not saying that's all purposeful, but, you know, I mean, I do think that there's something to be said about legacy. And if they really do think of things in that way, I mean, it'd be really crazy if this was all like a misdirect, and then the next 4 episodes give us something completely like, whoa.
Just a straight gut punch.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, and I think that's kind of what's exciting about this is as you were kind of saying, you named it as an ultimatum. I'm going to say it as make or break, which is an ultimatum essentially. Like, but what I mean by that is, like, it is the make or break point. You know, you have an opportunity to really throw us all for a loop in this show. You really do, because of the way this last episode ended. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, you know, next Tuesday, Keaton can have an orgasm over the show. I don't know, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like,
the people who don't know,
not to
Keaton's
get
a friend
nasty.
of ours. He joins us on the after.
Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, I literally, it's a compliment to the way we are in our relationship, Josh. Like, I feel like, you know, we're just talking as buddies at this point. You know, so
you know, actually, I do want to address something real quick.
Sure.
Little soapbox real quick. So, you know, the Star Wars right now, talking about it's just a minefield. It's so...
Yeah. I think you're clearing up what I was trying to get to earlier. Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
Basically what it is, this show, the whole premise of the show, everything about it, what Dom and I talked about, is if you don't like Acolyte, that's cool. If you don't like this show, that's cool. Dom and I are literally nobodies. We're 2 guys. We're 2 friends just talking Star Wars. We like all-encompassing Star Wars. I don't like the sequel movies. That dude likes sequel movies quite a bit. I think he wears a Last Jedi hat almost every day. I don't like those movies.
I lost that hat. I'm sad.
I'll buy you a new one.
Cool hat.
But no, it does the thing. Like, you know, if you guys, you know, like, oh, Acolyte's terrible, and we disagree on it, that's cool. I love Return of the Jedi. Let's talk Return of the Jedi.
I love
We're 2 nobodies. We just love Star Wars. That's it. We're talking Star Wars. We're not here to say this show's you're bad because you don't like this. It's not one of these shows. We're just talking about this franchise as a whole, what we want to see from it, what could happen. There's no ill will. There's no anger. There's no
That is judgment. The idea. Thank you for bringing this back around. We are just having fun
talking Star Wars. We are just 2 nobodies that love Star Wars.
I'm serious, man. Like, thank you for bringing this back around. That is the MO. That is the point I was trying to make in the beginning. And I hope that, like, at this point, you guys have gotten it. Like, none of us are screaming at each other. Like, I'm
very goofy about it. I just crack dumb jokes and derail the show because I think it's funny.
We're 2 but we're 2 people talking about Star Wars. You are a little bit more. I know you well enough to know you might have a little less faith than I do in this, but we're listening to each other. We're trying to get each other's takes and critiques, and I can honestly say, Josh, I will tell you this off air. Just in this first episode of this is my favorite show I've ever done on this channel. I'm dead serious. This is the best thing I think this channel's ever had.
It's just a good conversation. We're kind of 2 different ends of the spectrum on Star Wars. That's kind of horrible.
I know you got an out, but like I thought this conversation was going to be 45 minutes, and I'm authentically just hanging out.
Oh, dude,
like,
I don't even care anymore. I'll take care of that in the morning.
Good deal. All right, fair enough. Yeah, man. Going back into I love that you brought that back around, and because I do hope people get the point right now at this point in the show. This is exactly what the MO is for the show, and I told Jose this earlier. when we did the stuff with Star
Who's
Wars,
not really gone. I just like cracking jokes. He'll be back on.
well, no
Movie
one's
Mondays.
ever really gone, but
Hey,
I need that soundbite. Right?
That's a
I need
good
that clip.
callback.
Yeah, but I need I need to bring back the point about all right, I told him, I was like, some of Star Wars segment was going on for like an extra 40 minutes sometimes because I would clip those out back in the day. It was like, that's a whole other show,
Yeah, exactly.
And you could do that with Star Wars. That's the beautiful thing. Like, at the end of the day, whether we like it or don't like it, it's a good conversation starter.
Because Collider had Jedi Council.
Uh-huh.
Like that. We even talked about doing a Star Wars show a long time ago.
I remember talking about doing a show.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a Star Wars thing, but per se, but I do remember talking about.
No, because I think that's what started off because we were two different ends of the fandom. Because that's when I was super against. Like, I was just jaded.
Yeah, I think so. We might have both been. Let's be real, in two different ends of it. I
mean, I was just kind of like, I just don't care anymore. I mean, I got it back. Like I do care about the franchise. I love it a lot. I got the back.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's just kind of like, I'm older now, and I just learned to shut off all the everything and just enjoy the show for what it is.
That's what I mean. It's like, I think that's what's so cool is like at the end of the day, it's like, we both grew up. It's the truth. A lot of people, I watch some people online and I'm like, man, they're still children at heart, which in some ways could be a good thing, but in other ways it's like, I do think that, sometimes people are naive and they get into some bad things. And then I think other people are children at heart in the best way, which is just love everything that comes your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel this way. You might have had a different childhood experience. I don't know. But if I was a kid and I had Star Wars every month on Disney Plus, not literally every month, but it feels like that. I'd probably be freaking out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, oh my god, this is awesome.
This is off topic, but it's a similar thing. I remember I saw Godzilla -1, and there's two like 5-year-olds in the theater.
Yeah.
And I turned to my friend after the movie ended. I went, it's BS. These two kids got to see Godzilla in theaters. And this is probably the first time they've ever seen it in theater. And they got this movie. I got the Matthew Broderick one, and I just had to go, yeah, I guess that was good.
Right? That was the first one I saw too in theaters.
Yeah, and it's just I watched. I'm like, yo, what was that? What's going on?
Was Broderick before 99 or before 99? When did Broderick come out?
I think it's 99 or 2000. It may have been 2000.
Look that up really quick.
But so the case in point, we're not judging anyone. We don't care. Just enjoy. If you enjoy, enjoy. If you don't enjoy, don't enjoy. That's fine.
Oh no! I think it was before 99. Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say because
it came out 98.
98. Okay, so I saw that 1 year before I saw Phantom Menace. I was just trying to reference point like when I saw Phantom Menace. Okay, that makes sense.
I think it was a big promotion because it was a big Taco Bell promotion, and then Phantom Menace was the next promotion.
You're right. You are absolutely correct about that. I think we just probably like Taco Bell too much as kids. That might have been our sickness.
Taco Bell now.
We're still holding out hope for Godzilla, and we finally got what we wanted, and then hopefully for Star Wars, the same thing happens. Yeah, I would love. Can we go off a quick tangent really quick?
Yeah.
I
mean, the whole show's been a tangent.
No, you're right. Acolyte mid-season review. That's what the thumbnail's going to say. And,
no, it's going to say Acolyte season review and random ramblings.
Yeah. Fair enough. I could probably fix that up. I could probably fix that. Etc. And more. Acolyte mid-season review and ramblings, etc. and more.
Acolyte mid-season ramblings, very small font, and then and more, very large.
Star Wars: Return of the Who gives a shit. We're just gonna talk.
Yeah, no, if you don't like the show, you don't like I don't care. It's just a fun hobby, and we're just talking about the show.
No, for sure. This is what we're doing. I think that's why this is my favorite show we've ever done on this channel, because like you and I are just shooting the shit about Star Wars. No, I just my dream project, honestly. You might actually agree with me on this. I don't know. My dream Star Wars project, a lot of people are like, oh, I would love if they adapt this or do that or do Heir of the Empire again. Oh, believe me, I would.
I think everybody just would be so happy for that.
Oh, Heir of the Empire for sure. It's one of the best narrative things in Star Wars, period. I won't disagree with that. But what my dream project would be is for them to just do something that was on the simplicity of New Hope again and had the whimsy of New Hope again. You know what I mean? Just easy that. Which they almost did with Solo. I think they almost did that with Solo. I think Solo's the closest they've come. Because there's a lot of things in Solo that are close.
Friend of the show, Mark. Kind of, I was talking to him about it because he was talking about how, he didn't have high hopes for, no pun intended, high hopes for Solo. But then when he saw it, it gave him that same feel. Mando kind of gave me the New Hope vibe when season 1 came because it was like a fresh.
Season 1 was simple. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, playing it like we talked about. I said it was like a child playing with his toys in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is my cool Mandalorian figure, and he's off doing this adventure.
Yeah, so funny because I used to tell people like, I think George works best when he's simple, but maybe it's just that Star Wars works best when it's simple. I don't know.
It's a very paper thin story.
You look at New Hope, it is.
Yeah, but that's what sold everyone.
Yeah.
And I do love the complexities of Clone Wars, because I think when you get to the heart of these wars, that's when it gets interesting. But
unless Filoni's doing it, I don't want complexity.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not true. That's not true because Tony Gilroy does a damn good job. I mean,
it's Ron.
It's Zahn. I mean, no, but I'm saying Tony Gilroy in live action, he did great with Andor, and apparently he had to come back and direct a good portion of Rogue One. You know what I mean? All that and I'm not saying that's I still do want complexities, and I think that's only because we got a taste of it and we can see it. But my dream project would be to just not copy New Hope, because that's the criticism everybody has about Force Awakens is it's a copy and paste. Something I'm talking about, but look at that structure again and just see what worked.
Find the heart of it.
Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what I want. Yeah, I mean, that's what Jeff Goldblum wants too. I can see him right now. Yes. Find the heart of it. Yes. No. But I'm not a very good impressionist, but for some reason I pictured him saying in my head, I pictured him saying that, responding to you that way. Find the heart of it. You know what I mean? Honestly, one of the things, I know that project is dead and buried, and the dude hasn't been that promising as of late, but one of the things that did excite me in the last update that we got about Taika Waititi's movie is that he said he was rewatching New Hope and trying to find the heart of it. I think he literally said that. I'm paraphrasing him a little bit. I'm obviously the thing would have been a comedy fest, based on the track record, not as great, but I was like, maybe what if Taika Waititi was the guy, that could have gotten it,
It's funny you mentioned. I completely forgot he was even doing a movie.
It's not dead and buried, but shelved indefinitely. Yeah.
It's in timeout.
I mean, there's a few projects that just haven't been completely canceled. You look back at Patty Jenkins says she still owes him a script, so she's contractually obligated to still write that Rogue Squadron script. So she has to write it.
No Star Wars movie's ever truly gone.
Maybe. Taika's movie could have been that simplistic. Could have been. I don't know. Could have either been that simplistic thing that was just back to basics and awesome, or it could have been another Love and Thunder. I don't know. I was disappointed in Love and Thunder personally. There was things I liked about it for sure. But Thor: Love and Thunder.
I like the Screaming Goats, but that's because I'm simple.
Screaming Goats were awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody's like, Screaming Goats were horrible. I was like, that was the funniest part of the movie.
This is goofy. It's funny. It's loud. It's goofy. Yeah. It's why I like Basil. He showed up and he screamed. I thought it was funny.
Thank you, because everybody disagrees with me on the Screaming Ghost. I was like, that was the best part of the movie. That and I love the character that Taika voices. I think everything that guy does is great. Korg. I love Korg. Yeah, I love. Korg.
I liked the Godslayer too. He was Christian Bale's character.
Oh yeah. They should have
Thor,
again.
is that his name?
My complaint with this show, they should have had more and fleshed it out. A little bit better. I thought it opened
He's also
great.
in a completely different movie.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. It's like it opened great because it was dark and like but Ragnarok, and again, I wasn't a big fan of Ragnarok either, but at least that movie had a little bit more balance for the villain in that. Anyway, it's not a Marvel show. Point being,
I mean, but it don't matter.
yeah, it don't matter. We're talking.
We're riffing. That's
At this
what
point, haven't you guys had enough Star Wars? No, I'm kidding.
we're tired of it. End it.
I'm joking. But we could have had that. And yeah, Ryan Johnson's trilogy still has not been officially canceled. I don't know. I know it's look, I will say this. I like The Last Jedi. You already mentioned that. You were kind of alluding to. I love the sequel trilogy. Let's be real. I love The Last Jedi. I think that's the movie. That's the real truth. Of the three, I think Last Jedi is really good. Anyway, my point being is that
I do want to.
they have to make a lot of amends before they get to a Ryan Johnson trilogy. They got to really come back and win this fan base over before they can do something like that. Let's be honest. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to ask something real fast. So we were talking earlier. This is some post or pre-show talk.
Sure.
That we wanted to do a book review after we both read like a read along thing, I guess.
Well, we were talking about New Dawn and Death Troopers. That was our idea, but
I have a question. Do you own the Darth Plagueis book?
I'm going to. That's my next Legends buy.
I'm literally about to buy a copy right now. If you wanted to do that, be the first book. I feel like this would be the.
You want that to be the first one? We gotta start reading it now.
I mean, it wouldn't be here now. It'd take 2 days for it to show up.
ASAP, but you know what I mean. Like we gotta start reading it ASAP.
Our local bookstore is not here, or does not have it.
Yeah, I know. Okay. They never do. I'm putting it on you really quick. I'm still talking to you.
What's that sound? I thought I heard something. I wonder what he's doing.
I don't know. Yeah, no, same. I wonder
someone's
too.
starting a bonfire. He's outside.
Nothing.
But sorry, I'm just ordering the book real quick.
I'll do the same ASAP.
Okay, this is stupid. I really want the one cover where like it's let's see here. Which one?
Let's start with Death Troopers, just so in case we don't get around to that. I'm gonna order it.
Most of I'm ordering now because I actually want to read it. But
no, for sure, I do too.
I remember. It's a short book. I haven't remembered.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Let's start there. You know what I mean? Because what we should probably do is get together and come up with a plan.
It could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So to make it quicker. So because Plagueis, I'm looking at it, it is nearly 500 pages.
That's what I mean. It's long. Yeah, it's on the longer side.
We could do chapter videos.
Videos?
Like first 5 chapters.
I just think we should dive into.
Huh?
We could. It's up to you. It's up to you.
I mean, whatever works for me. I mean, I've read the first 3 Dune books within a week, so.
Yeah, you. I don't have.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like the first 5 chapters. I could see us doing,
Yeah.
A video on, and then.
No, I love to binge read. That's the thing. That's the way I read. Is I like to just binge it as much as I could. That's my problem. That's how I don't finish a lot of books, is because of how much I love to binge read, and I'll get let's say Thrawn's a good example of this. I got 15 chapters in one night. That's a big book. But that's what I did that day. You know what I mean? That was my day. I set it aside, and then that's what I like to do. We'll talk about this off air at some point. Yeah, because
Look forward to that. We're going to be doing books.
Somehow we'll get the Plagueis, right? Like one structure or the other. We'll talk about the Plagueis novel. Yeah, but I am going. That was literally my next book that I was going to buy. So good call.
So,
yeah,
I think the first book we'll be doing is Death Troopers, because it's quick and easy.
Yeah,
and then
Red Harvest we got to do too, right?
Yeah, Red Harvest.
Yeah. So let's do those as well. Another one I got to order. Uh,
I didn't track down Red Harvest. I don't think they reprinted it.
they did not, so you got to get the original, but it's available. You can find it.
Yeah, it's not hard to find.
Yeah. Anyway, look, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark now. There was one other thing I wanted to dive into, Josh, with you. I just want to know. We kind of talked about this off air just a tad. Oh, shoot. I think I did the wrong. You guys are probably going to see the screen switch a couple times here. So sorry about that. I think I jumped into the wrong thing here, but hang on. Let me try to do it this way. Shoot. Hopefully the show's not a mess because I kept opening tabs there. Let me try it this way. Let's see here. Let's see, guys. I'm so sorry for the stalling and the searching and all of that. As the blast, though. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
forgive the this episode. It is the pilot.
It is the pilot. Thank you, Josh. Okay,
so trying to get the feel and flow of everything. Next week will be way better.
Oh, we got it. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we should be able to dive in. That's you. I gotta stop your share. That's why. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it works now, everybody. Oh, that's a shot. I like that shot. Cool. Could use that sometimes. Let's try this again.
That'll be if we ever get into a debate.
Oh, good point.
It's like zoom, and then it's like and then you go
All right, I'm gonna share it now. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, Star Wars Episode 9, New Beginning title. Rumors explained. There's buzz regarding the new Star Wars movie being titled Star Wars Episode 10, A New Beginning. Then fans wish to learn if the reports are true, featuring Rey Skywalker as the central character. The Star Wars Episode 10, A New Beginning has piqued curiosity about the film's narrative direction. Furthermore, fans are eagerly awaiting official confirmation and details surrounding the film's release schedule. So is the new Star Wars movie with Daisy Ridley's Rey called Episode 10 A New Beginning? When will this new movie be released? Here are your answers. The Rey movie is reportedly titled Star Wars Episode 10 New Beginning. However, there's no official confirmation. If it is the official title, it will only be certain once the film's trailer is released. That's typically true. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to read that portion of it, and we'll go back to us here. Josh, do you think this is viable? Do you think Episode 10 New Beginning sounds right? And by the way, it's probably going to come out right around the 50th anniversary of New Hope when you think about it. If we say it's going to come out in a couple of years.
My answer is a story for another time.
Kidding.
That's what's you. No, I mean, I could see it happening. I don't know. Like Star Wars, I find it hard to believe another Star Wars movie is coming in theaters. I've been promised like 15
it's crazy
movies,
and
none of them have shown up.
Yeah. Well, we're getting Mando first, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think Mando will be testing. I mean, it's gonna make money because Grogu is the minions.
I do think it'll make money. I agree.
People see Grogu's in it.
I just don't know if it's gonna make that. I don't know if we'll get back to that billion. I think.
I don't think any movie's really gonna. Maybe Deadpool.
That's what I mean. I think Deadpool and Wolverine will be very telling.
Movies are kind of not doing that well right now.
The thing is, again, and I have issues with the films myself, but you know, when you look at what's made them money, it has been movies starring Rey. You know. It's true. And again, I go back to my mother who watches these casually. She loves Rey. You know what I mean? Those are her favorite Star Wars movies, you know, are the ones with Rey. She's watched these very casually. She loves the Acolyte because she's watched it casually. You know what I mean? She didn't really care for Mando. No, that's not true. She loves Grogu. You know what I mean?
Everyone.
So that's what I'm saying. Like she likes Mando in general, but like she's not like crazy about it the way she's like, she's one of those that's like, I use her as an example as the casual viewer who's going in the theater and buying the tickets. Like, where's Rey? Like that's what she wants to see. It makes money, and I think that it's a good move to do this movie. However, moving forward to that, yeah, new beginning. But can we do a movie? If that title is true, then that's going to tell me that they are looking to hopefully do a movie that literally is going to get the casual and the hardcore back.
You know what? I'm going to go crazy on this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give what I think is more likely, and I'm just going to go nuts.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild card here. I'm going to be wild card. I think there's a better chance of getting George's original sequels than the Rey episode 10.
You don't think
I'm just going wild card. Yeah, I'll go wild card with it.
Are you being honest?
Yeah, I'll go, yeah. Call it optimistic, call it wishful thinking. I think we'll get the George sequels first.
Call it karma. No, I'm kidding. But no. I don't. Are you being serious? You don't think this is happening?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll be wild card on it. Yeah, I think we'll get the George sequels.
I think that this will happen. Personally.
I was right about Acolyte. That never came out.
Okay, now you are really fucking with me. Okay,
but I'll be that. I will be that. And
fine. If you want to stand for that side of it,
put it on the debate screen. Put it on the debate screen.
Look, Last Jedi is my favorite movie. I've always said, not favorite, but favorite of the sequels. I've always said bad business move though. I've always said it, despite my feelings on it. It doesn't matter. Bad business move. I don't care how much it made. Like it had lasting effects on the fan base. A bad business move.
That is a pet peeve I have, though. When people equate how much the movie made versus how good it is, I hate.
Well, no. I've never.
No, you're not saying that. I just in general, I always found that was a weird.
No, all three of those Jurassic Worlds made $1 billion. I hate two of those. Hate two of those. You know what I mean? So, listen, that's not a reflection.
Lord, that last one.
I thought the one before was a little worse, but the last one had one good scene in it, at least. The Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh my. I merged them together in my brain. That there is, they don't.
Oh, they're about the same thing. No.
Oh, except one. I remember they're selling dinosaurs on the black market.
I think both of them they were doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you merged them. You definitely merged them.
They're terrible.
I think I might have merged them too, to be fair. But I just remember the last one had that one really good Bryce Dallas Howard scene that reminded me of Jurassic World.
The weird horror scene where it's hunting her in the water.
Yeah, that was the one good thing about that last one. That's the only thing that put it above the one prior. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a good move. I think Star Wars: A New Beginning, if it is Episode 10, New Beginning, excuse me, it does kind of allude to the fact that maybe they're trying to do something, because if it does come out on the 50th anniversary of New Hope, especially, they're just trying to win over the fans again. I hope they can do it. I said this. I think the only way you can make this movie great, and I'm ready for them to prove me wrong, is for them to make Plagueis the villain. Plagueis is still around. Do it. If Plagueis gets introduced in this show, that'd be even better of them to set that up early. But maybe I'm a Plagueis nut. Maybe that's the problem. But I don't know. I think that I just can't foresee who do you make the villain. And like, how do you make a villain out of this? Everybody's dead. You got to get somebody who the fans are going to be excited. I know, but yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No, I have an idea of how they could do it.
Okay.
Palpatine comes back again somehow.
I had one more story that we could talk about here. Please no.
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
Come on.
By God, he's done it again. Palpatine has come back from the dead. By God, how does he do it?
Yeah, let's do Palpatine again.
That'd be really cool.
See that Bears game last week? Yeah, hell of a game. Bears got a great team this year.
I have one more story. All right, here we go. All right, so this is one thing that I saw. Actually, Ron Howard tweeted this today. Will Bryce Dallas Howard ever direct a Star Wars movie? Star Wars Skeleton Crew is the latest series set in a galaxy far, far away, but this one is set to be slightly different, as it will aim for a slightly younger audience. The good news is. Good news for Star Wars fans, though, is that a familiar face will be guiding hand in making the series, focusing on a group of kids lost in the galaxy and drawing inspiration from classic Amblin films. At Fan Expo Boston, Collider's Stephen Weintraub caught up with Bryce Dallas Howard to discuss her involvement in the Star Wars universe. Known for directing work on The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Howard is set to direct an episode of Skeleton Crew. The series, created by John Watts and Christopher Ford, is set to premiere later this year. Weintraub kicked off the interview with the question many fans have been wondering: is Howard returning to the Star Wars sandbox soon, and will we ever get a feature-length Star Wars project with her at the helm? Well, I wish, she says. So, what I'll say is that was a terrible Bryce Dallas Howard impression I just did. Well, I wish. So, what I'll say is that I'm just doing an episode of Skeleton Crew, which I'm super excited about. I went to college with John Watts and his writing partner in this, Chris Ford, and so that was very exciting getting to do that. Josh, I'm taking it to you really quick, sir. Would you like to see Bryce do a Star Wars film, full-length feature film, and what were your thoughts on the episodes of, she did one episode of Mandalorian, or Book of Boba Fett, and 2 episodes of Mandalorian. Do you think she's done a good job so far?
We'll skip
while I take a leak.
the Book of Boba Fett one.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
What episodes of The Mandalorian has she done? I don't know. Do you know offhand? I don't think he's here. He has left me on my lonesome. I don't know what episode she's done, but I don't care. Go for it. We almost got David Lynch to do Return of the Jedi, and I was like, okay, let's go for it. But then Lynch said no, which is fine. It's not really his cup of tea. And but I guess go for it. I don't care. I don't know what episode she did of Mandalorian. Oh boy, I've been left without Papa. Boy, I'm rambling. Dead air. Oh, brother. I don't. So, how about the Mets? Yeah. Oh.
Are you done with your tangent?
I don't know what episode she did. And then I was like, what episode did she do? And then you're just gone.
Okay.
I'm like, I didn't hear. I'm like, is he gone? I'm like, okay, I'm just going to. That's what you get.
Yeah, I know. My fault.
And I'm like, I don't know what she did. And I'm like, I guess go for it. And then I talked about David Lynch.
I can help. All right, so we have the episode. The first one she did is an episode that I thought was one of the better ones of season 1. It's the one with the villagers, the 7 Samurai themed episode where they're teaching the villagers how to fight the AT-AT that comes in and tries to, or I think it was AT-ST, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's a good episode.
Yeah, it was a very good episode. Very, very well done stylistically in terms of recreating that 7 Samurai theme. Even though Filoni did it 100 times in the Clone Wars, at least we got it in live action now. I thought she did a good job recreating that theme in about the duration of 30 minutes. Going back to the shorter episodes. Anyway, moving into it, she actually did 3 episodes of Mandalorian. The other one she did is the one I thought was badass. The first one that we saw Bo-Katan in live action, I thought was a badass episode in Mandalorian, where they were on the boat and then they had to go fight the stormtroopers. And then in the 3rd season, she also did the episode, one of the most shit on episodes, not one I'm a fan of personally, but the buddy cop episode with Mando and Boba, the one Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd. But she did the best episode of Book of Boba Fett, which is the one where Mando's on that like moon planet that almost looks like Halo, and then he's training with the Darksaber, and it's actually like character development and all that. So she's 3 for 4 as far as I'm concerned. The majority of her Star Wars projects have been great. If I had to guess, it was not her idea to bring Jack Black and Lizzo into that episode. I think somebody up top was like, we need to get famous people, and But at the end of the day, I think she is one of the better Star Wars directors to step onto the scene. I have a friend who gave me a theory a long time ago: do a young Leia movie with the young gal that played Leia, because she did a great job in the Obi-Wan series. She was a great young Leia, like, despite my feelings. 100%. Like, do a young Leia movie going into the teenage years with Bryce. I think that'd be perfect. You're hitting the perfect stride. That's my feeling.
Oh, that's kind of cool, because then her dad did Solo, so you kind of get the...
Yeah, sure. Yeah, 100%. No, I 100% agree. I think that's another cool comparison and all that. I do think that she's, as far as the director goes, I mean, I think Bryce is great. I do think she's a good actress. I didn't like that Argyle movie, but I thought she was good. Like, coming out of that movie, the one thing I said positively was, like, give Bryce more lead roles. She's a very good leading lady. I think she's just a talent that is, sadly, I think after the response to that last Book of Boba Fett episode, that should have been the first thing they were looking for, is, giving her something to direct, like a movie, something bigger. Because, like, I think that was 3 episodes in a row that she knocked out of the park. Yeah.
I don't want her to do a Star Wars movie. I wanted her to do a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. That's what I want. I want that show back.
Oh, man. That'd be something. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's a good idea, Josh.
I mean, if she's not going to do it, then go and give her a Star Wars movie. Right. But if she could do the Andy Griffith Show or the Star Wars movie, I'm going with the Andy Griffith Show. Or as my grandparents call it, Engine Barn.
Yeah. I think we all want to see a reboot of the Andy Griffith Show, right?
But like a good reboot, not like
yeah.
I say no shit. No shit.
Yeah, no, we all
I don't want
to
to like what's that terrible reboot that just came out?
There's a bad reboot came out?
Not a reboot, it's like continuation. Oh Lord, what was it called? It's the one where it's the guy goes through time and he's different people.
Oh, Quantum Leap.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh God.
That was a bad reboot.
I'm not saying the first show was a masterpiece.
No, but there was no reason for that new one.
Yeah.
Right.
That got a new show, but not Andy Griffith Show, which lasted like 10 seasons.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Leave it alone. If no new Star Wars came out, we'd be none the wiser. So same thing for Andy Griffith.
I don't know. Then we would have the show.
I'm not saying it's bad business, though. You're thinking like a corporate leader.
I think you and I want to have the show if there was no new Star Wars.
Oh, I love that.
Imagine the show we could have. Imagine if they had a new.
We'd still have the show. We talk about the nuances of all 3 movies over and over again.
No, we wouldn't. We were talking about the new Andy Griffith Show.
Talking about
all right. Forget Starlight.
What trouble
Shadows.
is Opie going to get into this week?
Listen, all right, hear me out, because this is happening next week. Next week is no longer Starlight Shadows; it is Mulberry Blues.
All right.
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
All right. So I will say, this is probably where we should wrap up the Star Wars, because it's about done. We've gone through enough of it. I am having a great time with you. Man, we can still talk about it. We can talk about it. It's fine.
It's a hoot. It's a hoot.
It's a hoot and a holler. We can talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Look, guys, I love that we're not cornered in, though, because the show's not called Star Wars Starlight Shadows. It's just Starlight Shadows. So we're just 2 dudes talking.
You know, there's a High Republic comic called that, by the way.
It's Shadow of Starlight. You're right. It is about Starlight Beacon, and I've heard it's the best High Republic comic. I've been dying to read it.
We're the best show on Extract Media.
Oh, there we are.
We're a little bit of the Anorax vibe.
That's my terrible redneck accent. But we're gonna
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
I hate that those clips are lagging, but whatever. Hopefully people get it.
I mean, it's not really like on my end.
Okay, good. Maybe it made it into the recording.
But let's get back to brass tacks.
Whoa, we're way off on
Andy
this,
Griffith
by the way.
Show.
Yeah.
Andy Griffith Show.
No, I'm good. We can't off air.
How are you
we can't off air.
No, not off air. People want to know about the How many Star Wars shows are there? 1 billion. How many Griffith shows are there?
We could talk about this,
One.
but guys,
One.
this has been a great episode of Starlight Shadows. We're at like 2.5 hours. We gotta wrap up.
2.5 hours, and now we're about to hit the meat of it with the Andy Griffith Show.
I'm good with 2.5. I think anything over that, nobody's gonna watch the shit.
We're longer than Acolyte as a whole.
Yep, we already.
Remember when I pitched this as an hour show? Like, yeah, we'll do an hour show, no big deal.
Yeah, I did too. I was thinking like 45 to an hour.
Well, next week it'll be way shorter because
we'll
I
have nothing to talk about in 45 minutes to an hour. Dude, everybody clocked out like an hour ago, so it doesn't matter. If they can view this for an hour, I'll be happy.
When's the next? For the kids still listening, when's the next After Hours?
Good question. I have
Because
one
this is
recorded
basically
that
it.
never aired.
There's one recorded,
Never aired.
and I wasn't there.
No. Never
For
aired.
shame.
Never
For
aired.
shame.
Never aired. So
Let me just
it's not really for shame because it never aired.
Huh?
Never aired.
Yeah, but people have been clamoring for it.
This has been an episode of Starlight Shadows. I appreciate everybody joining here today. This is our very first episode. I had a lot of fun, Josh. I'm being serious, buddy.
I did
This
too.
is my
I did
favorite
too.
show on the channel so far.
This it was a wild week for me. I did 2 first episodes of a podcast, so it's
I don't think we were talking about Star Wars in the last 15 minutes.
hey, on my other show, we kind of rambled off for a while.
I
You know,
hope.
it happens. It's just
I agree.
just
That's what I
flow.
wanted. I hope that you guys had fun watching us, and I do hope that you understand that I am drinking some beers and that things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, before we get out of here, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share us with your friends, hit the bell for notifications, and do all that. But also follow us on social media, X at Extract Media Blog, Instagram, Extract Media Blog. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Extract Media feed, and on Spotify. Links in the description below. Josh, do you have anything to plug? You actually do today.
Yes,
You have
I for
Studio
once
13.
do. Keep an eye out for Studio 13. It's a little movie, music, kind of all-encompassing everything art. I am a co-host on it. With a few other friends of mine.
Yeah. Mutual friends. We have
we
people
wrapped
on there.
up the friends of the show. Friends of the show. We wrapped up the first episode. Maybe we'll even do a little crossover event. Who knows? We wrapped up the first episode, so keep an eye out on that. It should be a good time for all. There is no Star Wars talk in it like in this show.
True. Haven't seen it, but
Because we
true.
just kind of stopped. We stopped talking about Star Wars like an hour ago.
No. We're good. Anyway, sorry
Yeah,
guys.
we're good.
But yeah, no, check out Studio 13, mutual friends of the show on that. Subscribe or follow wherever they're at, for sure. Josh doesn't even know yet. We're figuring all that out.
Yeah, we don't.
He doesn't even
It
know
all
if he's in the
started this
final
week.
cut of Studio 13, but you know,
It's true.
he could be
All my scenes could have
completely
been
out of
cut.
that show. But you know what? They are still friends of ours, so follow Studio 13 once it is out and aired. They should have given you that information though before you came on here.
I mean, we just
Maybe you
recorded
should
that
have
a day
asked.
ago.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Seriously, guys,
We're still in the talks of how
we'll be plugging that as we go. This is a weekly thing. Let us know what you thought of the show. If you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know. Let us know what we can fix, what we can do better. But I had a great time myself. I hope Josh did as well. Anyway, I've been Don Martino. I am Don Martino. That is Josh Richards.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you guys. Bye.